was like coming in like I was going to
How'd you like that?
I was going to say, can you just start there? Can you give your reaction? I mean, that's one of the greatest night of fights we've ever seen.
I mean, 2 years in a row, I don't think you can make that up as far as entering a new market in Salt Lake and, you know, the atmosphere. Like, everyone just turned around and said, again?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
It's setting a pretty high standard for other cities to live up to.
I think we're already talking about next year.
I was going to ask you, I mean, a lot of fighters, I know you're kind of instrumental in bringing the UFC here. A lot of fighters in the cage tonight were very complimentary of Salt Lake City and of Utah. So in your mind, does that mean like mission accomplished? Like we're not just getting great events, but we're getting this great feedback as well?
No, I think you've got the fastest growing state in the country. I think you've got the youngest state in the country. And it's been that way for a few years. I mean, it's what brings me to want to go do what we're doing in sports and our partnership with UFC. I think we're both all in on trying to improve. I mean, it's not like, I mean, I think you look from the cards standpoint, and I mean, the last 2 years, like this isn't just they're just not going through the motions. I mean, we're literally working to have an amazing event here and be something that's hopefully like the staple of the summer.
Yeah, now, I guess that would be my last question is, because I heard a lot of people saying it 2 years in a row, what can you tell us? Are they going to do it an annual? Can they do it? I mean, do you see like a multi-year partnership or something where you're here once a year?
Look, we're taking it year by year, but we just got, I mean, I was just, you know, talking to the folks about next year, what we can improve on, how we go bigger. I think if you look at, I'm sure the numbers will come out, they're significantly better than last year. And, you know, as you're coming into a market, you know, people can start putting it on the calendar. They know everyone who is here is going to go tell their friends, right? And you start to see that, and you know, and we have a lot of people who came in from out of town as well. I mean, if you look at the proximity of the airport, how we're here, it's just easy. Utah is easy, and it just works.
Yeah, I was going to ask one more. I know it takes a long time to put together a true economic impact study, but are there any kind of initial indicators as to what kind of impact this event's had on the community?
I mean, I think it's probably too early to tell. I mean, this is year 2, but as a whole, I think you look at what's happening in the state of sport in Utah. It's a really positive. I mean, that's all you can say. But people want to get out. They want to come out, and it's just cool. It's just cool to see it. And I mean, this is similar to what we experience, you know, for basketball. It's what we experience for most things we do in this arena. The arena is a special arena. If you notice the verticality of how it goes, it's different than almost anything that is like this. And that's why it feels so electric as well as when you're here.
Ryan, what is it about Salt Lake City? Well, actually, maybe the Wasatch Front, where you got the UFC now, a couple terrific years. You got the MLB looking at Salt Lake, and then you got the NHL, maybe the Coyotes. What is it? What's kind of changed over the last, say, 5, 6, 7 years?
Yeah, if you look, I mean, if you just think about growth, like what growth looks like, I mean, you can see it in UFC. It's something easy to point to and say, hey, where was UFC 10 years ago? And you see the compounding growth where it's getting better and better every year. When you're the fastest growing state, you know, 6 out of the last 10 years, you actually look very different than you did 10 years ago. And, you know, me growing up as a kid here and coming to this arena and, you know, driving from where I lived, it was a lot of farms, a lot of fields, you know, pretty much from, you know, 60 miles north to 60 miles, it's all a community. And so if you look at the Wasatch Front, it's one big community. And I think people are starting to realize we just held All-Star. It was one of the most successful All-Star games that they've ever had. It was digital first. We have 250,000 college kids within 60 miles. You look at the youth. I mentioned as being the youth, lowest unemployment, #1 economy, top 4 tech boom. And you got 7 million people that come into this area for tourism to ski and I think people are also going, hey, wow, there's something about the mountains and the wellness of Utah. And Delta just put, you know, $3 billion into the airport, and we come here, we can get places, we can live, we can spread out, but in a world where wellness is a premium in all aspects of life, people are going, hey, this is where I want to be, especially when I can live wherever now.
A lot of people are wearing Golden Knights jerseys here. A lot of people are wearing Raiders stuff here. The pipe dream for the NHL or MLB to be in Vegas?
No, we're in those conversations. You know, I've talked to Gary frequently. You know, I think if you look at SEG and what we've done, you know, we're 2.5 years in taking over the Jazz. We obviously the arena, we brought the Delta Center back. I think it's the first time in sports that we've been able to actually bring the naming back. I mean, Carl was here tonight, and he walks in, he's like, holy cow, it just feels different, right? If you look at, we just launched a media company to go wall to wall in the state of Utah. So we'll have 3-point-something million people that have access to games. It's the first in the NBA, the first thing like it. We're going direct to consumer as well, and we're going to sign a deal to go outside of the state because we're 30 minutes from Wyoming and Idaho, and there's a lot of people from there that came down to see the fight. And so as you start to look at the power of how to activate this new Utah, and when it comes together, I think All-Star Game was probably the first time it all came together. And everyone's like, whoa, this is what it looks like. Since the Olympics, maybe. And then if you go fast forward, there's events like this where it came together. You look at the Olympics coming back, it's coming together. And I think people are realizing, like, what the power of this place is. So hockey's on the radar. You know, I think we can walk in on day one and have an incredible presence. So I'm excited. I mean, obviously I'm in the business, so it's fun.
There's a nice rivalry kind of building a little bit between Salt Lake and Vegas. A lot of fans go down there.
Yeah, it's hard. My wife's from Vegas, so there's no rivalry. I mean, it's a different experience. But you know, there's parts of Utah that are an hour away from Vegas. You know, and so I think you look at the geography side. You know, there's a strong connection between here and there. But you know, I think if you look at hockey specific, like, you know, an expansion team to come in and first 3 years win a championship, it's a playbook and a model of how to expand, and especially to have Seattle there. So I think it's exciting. Any more hockey questions?
Hey, Ryan. Mark Powell was telling me earlier this week about how when you...
Are you wearing a collar? That's nice.
You've seen me in a suit before. Mark Powell was telling me how when you bought the Jazz and the Delta Center, you asked him, is there anything I can help you with? And he told you right then, reach out to your buddies at Endeavor so we can get a pay-per-view here. Can you kind of just recap how those early conversations went about making UFC pay-per-views in Salt Lake City a reality?
Yeah, I mean, I think, so first of all, just because you have friends at Endeavor doesn't mean you're going to get a UFC fight. I mean, you've got to be able to do what this place just did, right? But, you know, I'm close with Ari. Silver Lake, obviously, is who owns Endeavor and are a big piece of it. And they also, you know, own my company as well. So we're all in the family a little bit. But I think those relationships are great. And I think there's a lot of trust that they know how I operate, and they're willing to go out a little bit on a limb maybe if you didn't know each other. And so I think any time that you can work in business and there's a little bit more trust, trust is key. And so, but at the end of the day, that's all great, but you've got to have a market and a place that can perform like this place has. And so I think, you know, I think our relationships just add on top of that there's a relationship and some trust there and some built-in history.
Ryan, with everyone seemingly like shocked by how great Utah is from All-Star Weekend to UFC, it's like people are having these realizations of, oh, wow, this is a place to be. For you, is it kind of like a long time coming? Like you're like, okay, now people are seeing what I've always had seen kind of thing?
No, not at all. I think the only reason why people don't see it is because no one's ever spoken for Utah before. Like people speak against Utah and no one ever says anything from Utah's standpoint. I mean, we built one of the greatest tech ecosystems in the world. The tech world knows very well about Utah. But I think now what you're seeing is someone say, in a group in a state, say, no, actually, we have a voice. Like, come check it out. And you're seeing moments where people are saying, whoa, I was able to come to Utah and experience it. And it's different. It's just different. There's something about, I mean, I heard someone came to me today say, like, I got off the plane and I got here and I just kind of took a deep breath. And I was like, huh. Or Travis Scott came to an NBA game last year and he just stood up and said, I just love Utah when I come here. Like, there's just this, it's just different. And I mean, I've got 26 offices around the world for tech. Like, it's not like we don't go everywhere. We just choose to live here. And I think forever there's this notion that maybe people were here not by choice. And I think for me, this is my passion. My passion is building Utah. And, it's crazy how sports has come into that. And if, I'm willing to kind of put everything I've got behind that, and it's pretty cool to work on. It's pretty cool to be able to work on a state. And it's fun. It's a fun thing, and I believe in it. And I believe in things. I had a judge come up tonight and say, hey, I started at UFC just here, and now I'm hired on full time. Like, that's cool. That's a cool experience. So those things, there's a lot that still happens. And no state's perfect. I mean, come on. But I think we're less screwed up than everyone else.
Statement of the century.
Hey, Ryan, can I ask one more question about that? Have you seen that Cosm, the new kind of...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, can you talk about that?
So we did an event. One of the things that was really cool is Dwayne and the crew, they do a spades event for every All-Star. It's kind of one of these cool events. And we did this event at Cosm. And there's something there. I mean, I think, one day, I think the indoor-outdoor, providing that experience outside, it would be really, really cool. But I love that idea. I think there's a lot of innovation that can happen around the way we view live sports. I think we're early days. And I know the NBA's tried a bunch of stuff. Hockey's tried it. I think there's something there. But I'm a big fan. I love it. I mean, you look at it, you just see it differently. And by the way, it's not like we're not experiencing that with screens. Everyone's screens are bigger. So when those worlds can overlap and make it a little bit more interactive, like, I think we're all in on that. And to have it here in Salt Lake, it's pretty cool. All right, thank you.
Derrick, an amazing win and one of the greatest celebrations we've ever seen from you, and you've had a lot of them. So, I mean, can you just tell us kind of what this moment and this win really meant for you?
First of all, man, you lost some weight, man.
A little bit.
Yeah, I can see.
I appreciate that.
You got a chin now, man. You lost some weight.
You got a six-pack. I got no excuses now.
Yeah, for sure you lost some weight. Good job.
I appreciate it.
But the win means a lot to me. I had a lot of pressure was on me coming into this fight, and I just wanted to prove to everyone that I'm still one of the best fighters in the world.
When you talk about the pressure, like pressure from the outside or pressure you put on yourself?
Pressure I put on myself. I finally did everything right. I trained my ass off for 11 weeks straight. I didn't drink any sodas. That's probably one of the keys. Me getting a little six-pack, that's about it.
Oh, I like that. Like you said, you had the six-pack. I mean, do you attribute this win to that? I mean, just the dedication? Is that what provided all this?
For sure, it's a dedication. I probably only missed like 1 day of camp. 2 days. 2 days. 2 days of camp. I was cramping, PMSing, so I had to sit out a couple of days.
Nice. when you heard him, you dropped him, and obviously you swarmed with the punches, and he did cover up a little bit. Was there any thought in your mind, like, I need to slow down a little bit because obviously the elevation and all that, or did you just know, like, I'm getting it done right now?
It was a thought for a second. Then I was like, shit, I've been out here for 2 weeks, and I've been training hard, and, like, the elevation out there in Deer Valley where I was staying, it was way higher than it is here. And so I was like, I felt like I just had the cardio to go.
Last thing for me, you kind of dropped a surprise, I guess, saying this was your last fight on your contract. I mean, do you have a desire to go chase free agency and see what's out there? Or are you hoping that you come back to the UFC?
I'm hoping to stay here in the UFC. I like it here. I like the staff, Nobi. She's pretty cool. But everybody's cool here except for the media. Y'all dickheads. Like, fuck all y'all, really. I should walk out right now, y'all. But go ahead. Next question.
Derrick right here. When did you take the pants off as a spur in the moment thing, or did you know?
Why everybody keep saying pants?
Shorts.
They're shorts.
Shorts.
Now, the what?
Was that just spur of the moment, or do you know if you won?
Spur of the moment. My dick got a mind of his own. So I don't know. It do what it wants. Spur of the moment.
You retook the UFC knockout record tonight. You were briefly tied with Matt Brown there, but you got it back. Sole possession. What does that mean for you?
It means something. Shit, I work hard. I wanted to get something fantastic out there, to let everyone know that I'm still one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. And so I just wanted to go out there and prove that.
Do you feel like you have another title running in you now?
I believe I do. It was just so crazy and frustrating, like me losing to the guys that I lost to, and like it's no way in hell I should have lost to those guys. So that was another reason why I wanted to train my ass off for this fight, because now I got a lot of guys calling me out now, and I showed and like that. The last guy that called me out was Curtis Blaze, and you know what happened to that. So
which
I
of
don't
those
like guys calling me out.
Which of those losses burns at you the most?
Probably the last two really. Both of them Russian guys. But it is what it is.
If you make it to the title, would you like John Jones to be the guy to be there?
Oh, it doesn't matter who it is, It doesn't matter.
What do you do to celebrate a win like this tonight?
I'm in Utah, so I don't know what's illegal, what I can and can't do. So I got to be careful out here. I don't even think it's black people out here, so I don't know. Probably got to wait till I get home. Shit.
Derrick, now that you've done a camp and you've come here, you've got the six-pack and you've seen the performance it can give you, do you think you'll be able to continue doing this every time you come to fight?
I probably can, but I love root beer. And so that was one of the things I stopped drinking. My coach said that I'll end up having a six-pack if I stop drinking sodas. So I said, hell no. So I ended up stopping drinking sodas and started drinking sparkling water. He said if I stop drinking sparkling water and switch up to some ice drink, then I'll probably get a six-pack. And I didn't believe what he was saying. I didn't believe it. I ended up getting one.
When you noticed it, were you like, oh my God, finally, after all these
Yeah,
years?
it was finally. So I was like, me and my wife, so I was just telling her, I'm laying on my back. You're going to feel these six-pack. So it is what it is.
Is she appreciative of it?
Oh, she appreciated it. But I don't like that she liked me more now since I got a six-pack. Shit, I've been with her ass for 14 years. Yeah. Shit, without a six-pack, she should have liked me before then.
Well, it's the person inside that matters.
Yeah, it's the person, I guess. But it's whatever.
Did you know you were going to throw a flying knee right out the gate?
I always wanted to throw a flying knee out the gate. It was just, I believe it's perfect time because he liked to keep a high guard. He don't back up really. He try to keep a high guard, wait for you to throw something so he could throw leg kicks or swing his wild hooks. And so I just knew that the flying knee or the 1-2 straight off the bat was going to be there.
Congratulations on the win.
Appreciate it.
You may not be able to celebrate here, but what'd you think of Utah?
Utah is beautiful. It's real beautiful. The weather this week been bipolar though, but it's been real beautiful. It could be sunny as hell. Then all of a sudden, damn storm come out of nowhere. But it's nice.
call those monsoons. Did you feel you kind of briefly mentioned it because you were like, I was getting a little tired. Like you just were like, why am I so tired? I've been here for 2 weeks. Did you feel the elevation like during that fight, or were you just fighting? Obviously.
I didn't feel the elevation at all. I didn't get tired. I just felt good. You know, I was in Deer Valley for 2 weeks, and I believe Deer Valley helped me out a lot with my conditioning.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Good.
Dustin, I know it's not easy right now, so thanks for coming to speak with us. First of all, I guess can we just get your initial reactions to how you're feeling at the moment?
It sucks, obviously. Losing sucks, but I've lost before. I've said the same thing before. It's not cool to be acquainted with these feelings, but I've been here before, But, man, the career I've had and the fights I've had and where I come from, I feel like I've already won, So I'm just taking it minute by minute right now, But I'm good.
No doubt.
I'm good. If I win like a man, I got to be able to lose like a man, and so.
Absolutely, a great example. Success early, right? I mean, were things playing out the way you thought?
Felt great. I felt like I had a good rhythm. He was moving backwards a lot, kind of making me chase him, and I didn't want to open up too much brawling trying to get him. I had him hurt, but I knew we had 5 rounds, and I could kind of tell he was hurt, but he was kind of baiting a little bit. He wasn't all the way there, ready to be finished. He wasn't done yet, and I can see he wanted to throw that right hand, and we were both dry, and it was kind of still, 1 round into the fight, and I didn't want to run into that right hand. We had 4 more to go. If I did it to him in the first, it was going to happen again later. In my head, I thought it was a veteran move. Maybe I should have hit the gas.
I was going to ask you, in hindsight, I guess it's easy to look back, right? But now you're like, damn it, I
It's
should
always
have
2020.
Yeah.
I thought I had 4 more rounds. I didn't know I had 2 more minutes. But it is what it is, man. Losing sucks. And I felt great. I had a long camp. Easiest cut of my career. Yeah.
I guess the only good thing maybe from a fan perspective is it means maybe a trilogy down the line. Is that a fight that needs to happen again at some point?
We'll see, man. We're 1-1. We knocked each other out. We'll see.
Nice. Last thing for me, I guess, I imagine family time is the first thing on your mind. But, do you think about what interests you? You were going for the championship, and that's it.
That was the goal.
Are there other fights that interest you? Or?
No, honestly, no. Even this one, like before this one, when they offered me Benil, I was just like, I'm not that excited about it. But when this one came, it got me scared and nervous because what just happened could happen. That's what kept me waking up every morning, ready to bust my ass. And I knew not only the excitement of the fight, the danger of the fight that would motivate me, a win would get me, we're number 2 and 3. Number 1 already beat us, and he's fighting for the title again. How much higher on the ladder can I go? So a win over him, I thought, would have been a lock to get the title shot. So we'll see, man. I don't know.
Is there a chance this is the last time you fight, or you're just frustrated at the moment?
I still feel great, dude. I got hit with a shot I just didn't see. Like naturally, just instincts. I had one hand up, just from years of training, but the foot still got around. I haven't seen it. I need to rewatch it. Foot got around good, got me. I just didn't even see it, but I still can compete. Like I said before, I have tread on the tires, dude. I feel great. I just did a 9-week camp in South Florida and pushed myself every day. Had the easiest weight cut of my life. I busted my ass. That's why losing sucks, because you do all this work, and it's not, nothing's guaranteed. I'm not saying I did, but what if I worked 5 times harder than Justin? Busted my ass, sacrificed, did all these things, and you go out there and it's the unknown, but that's what makes us love it, because the underdog always has a chance in there under those lights. And it just sucks when you're on the other side of it,
Dustin, over here. Justin's not known to throw a whole lot of head kicks, so is that technique, did you expect that at all from him in preparation?
No, I was kind of surprised he threw a high kick in the first round, and luckily I had something in between us when it landed, but I didn't think he was going to go back to it, and I was kind of trying to hide my kick to the body with the cross, kind of the same thing he did. And he kept dipping so hard when I threw that body kick. He kept dipping, and then one time I said, I'm going to switch it and throw the left hand and throw the knee down the middle, and I'll catch him. And he pulled back on that one. The one time I did something different, he pulled back. So, that's fighting. That's why I love this sport. It's the theater of the unknown out there. It's heartbreaking, but I keep coming back like Pookie, It keeps calling me. I can't stop. So we'll see what happens, man. I might need another hit. I don't know. I'm just taking it one day at a time, 1 minute at a time right now. But I'm happy. My life is good. My family's good. My daughter's excited for me to get home. We're not at a funeral here. I've won. I've won life. I already won. Where I come from, I've already won, man.
This probably is too soon to even think about, but sometimes we see guys try maybe a new weight class, right? Was that you've made no secret that you don't really love the cut to 155. Could you see yourself trying 170 next time out?
Dude, I probably could have cut another 5-6 pounds night before last. It wasn't a hard cut at all. I don't get over 183, and I train with and know a lot of very high level lightweights who are a lot heavier than me. You know, I'm not the biggest lightweight. I don't know if it's just over time. You know, this was my 47th mixed martial arts fight, so I don't know if the cuts kind of did something to my body, but it's just hard for me to get down. But I'm not a big guy. I'm waking up 78 back home training, you know.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, right? Because you say you love the sport so much, but there are some fights you just can't get excited for. So is it kind of just, I need to take some time and eventually my head will sort itself out about what I want to do next?
We'll see. You know, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Time heals all, so I just need to get some clarity and see what I'm going to do and what makes sense. I'm not fighting, like, this was an opportunity to get another title shot, I thought, and especially the BMF belt. You know, that's something, that's legacy. That's cool. I wanted to put that, you know, that would really tie the room together, man. I wanted to put that in my home, but it is what it is. You know, you take your L's and you keep moving. I don't know what's going to happen next. I really don't. I don't think that far. I still feel good. I have a lot of fights, you know, under my belt, but like I say, I have tread on the tires. I feel good. I can compete with these young guys in the gym. It's just, we'll see. I don't know. What am I fighting for? I'm not fighting just to fight. I did that my whole life. My whole life I've done that. I don't want to fight just to fight. I want it to be for something. And if it's just another fight, you know.
There's a world where if he wins his next one, you can rematch him for the BMF and the UFC title.
Who?
If Gaethje wins the title, you could rematch him for both BMF and the UFC gold.
Yeah, we are 1-1. We both stopped each other, so that would be a good one.
Hey, Dustin. You know, you just said that, you know, you're not fighting to fight, but, like, are you interested at all at fighting these up-and-coming guys? Or is it just basically, like, money fights, big names? Like, are you interested in fighting up-and-coming prospects?
Not really. No.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Dustin, just right here. You know, you mentioned not sure of the future, but what is your process when you go home and kind of make your determinations on what makes sense?
Well, I'm leaving Monday. I'm staying here an extra day. When I get home Monday, me and the Good Fight Foundation have the backpack drive. So I'll be out doing that. That'll be my main focus when I get home. And after that, I'm taking my daughter on vacation like we always do. In the summertime when I fight, we always go on like a family vacation. And I'll just lick my wounds there and kind of see what's next and see what makes sense. And I'll talk to Hunter and Dana, and we'll see, man. I don't know.
And this was obviously a high-stakes fight, but it's the first loss in a long time that wasn't an undisputed title fight.
Yeah.
So is the feeling right now a little bit different, just knowing that, you know, it's not the absolute pinnacle where this setback happened?
No, it feels the same. It sucks, man. It really does, you know. I've lost big fights before and sat here and cried in front of you guys, and I'm trying not to do that now, you know. I put a lot into this. It means a lot to me, but I got to be able to take it, you know. I dish it out, I got to take it. It just sucks. I really wanted the belt. You know, that's a legacy fight for my career. But it is what it is. You know, this is fighting. You know, there's no sympathy. I signed up for it. I knew what I was getting into. And that's why we love it, because anything could happen. And it did, you know. This is fighting.
Thanks for coming back.
Dustin, really quick over here. In the first round, it was a bunch of Justin chants. In the second round, they were resounding for you. I don't know if you heard that.
I heard it.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious of what you thought of the Salt Lake backdrop, the fans. There was a whole lot of love and support for you this week.
And I appreciate it. You know, a lot of these hardcore fans have seen me grow up in this organization and grow up in this sport. You know, I've been doing it a long time. This is going to be my 30th win. This was total my 47th mixed martial arts fight. You know, I think my 29th or 30th in the UFC. You know, they've seen me evolve and grow into the fighter I am, so they've kind of followed along the journey. So I know I do have good support, and I appreciate them so much, you know. Yeah, but I heard them out there.
Over here in the middle, I just have to ask you, because you are staying an extra day, just what do you think of competing and fighting in Utah? Did you feel elevation? Were you able to see the city? What do you think of this place?
I thought it was great. You know, I had a great week. I had a great week here. No, I can complain about nothing. I got here end of last week. The elevation was fine. I was up 1,000 feet above where we fought tonight in the mountains. We did runs, hikes. I slept in a altitude tent at the end of camp for a couple weeks to prepare for this. The altitude had nothing. You know, I felt great. I felt fine.
Dustin, in the first round, you were adjusting with your shorts a lot. What was going on there?
I had hands in my pants.
What was it? An equipment issue with the shorts, getting ready for the kicks, or?
No, it's just a nervous tick I have, I think. Thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Chama.
Congratulations, your first win at light heavyweight. Just giving your thoughts on the feel of your performance afterwards.
Bom, parabéns e sua primeira vitória no meio pesado. Fala pra gente aí o que você sente.
Bom, sentindo muito bem, né? Pô, foi uma grande luta, claro, sempre difícil, né? Pô, falando de outro guerreiro ali. Um cara que tem uma história bacana aí, ex-campeão. Mas eu vim bem preparado, a gente planejou muito bem, 2 semanas aqui em Utah, então isso fez uma grande diferença.
Well, I feel very good, you know, one win like against a great war, and you know what I mean, with a big history, former champ, but me and the team did a great game plan to come to Utah 2 weeks before, and then, you know, so it happened. We're happy.
Very nice. Obviously, a difficult opening round for you. I guess giving your thoughts after the first 5 minutes as to how things were playing out.
O primeiro round foi meio difícil, né? Fala pra gente o que passou na sua cabeça depois dos primeiros 5 minutos.
Bom, eu sabia que ele queria me colocar para baixo. Ele não fez o que ele falou. Ele viu o perigo e já quis me colocar para baixo. E eu fiquei ali, né? Primeiro round foi como eu tive assim uma lembrança, né, da minha primeira luta, da minha estreia, né, com o Mihailidze, né, eu fiz ele cansar o primeiro round e eu ia começar a trabalhar ali do segundo em diante, foi o que eu fiz, um segundo round ali, que eu quase nocauteio ele, e, o terceiro round ali também, batendo o tempo todo, mas no finalzinho ele me colocou para baixo, que eu certeza que isso não vai ganhar a luta, não vai ganhar o round.
Well, first round, he didn't stick with what he said. He said he was going to trade, then he came straight for the takedown. But I stayed patient. A flashback came on my mind from my first fight in the UFC against Mihailidze, the same situation. So I just warned him out, let him grind himself out on me so I could win the second and third. You know, second round, the guy saw that I almost knocked him out in the end. I was better. Third round, too. He scored a takedown in the end, but I don't think it was enough to win that round due to the damage that I put on him.
I was going to ask you that opening round. Obviously, he won the round, but is it a round that you're almost proud of because you were in a really bad position where probably everybody's going to want to put you, but you showed that you can survive?
Até falando de novo do primeiro, você tá orgulhoso porque você foi colocado numa posição muito difícil, que muitas pessoas ali não aguentariam e todos vão tentar te colocar e você saiu tranquilo ali.
Não, com certeza, todo mundo conhece o Ian e, sabe do potencial dele. Às vezes, talvez as pessoas tinha uma outra expectativa, falar, não vi muita coisa, eu achei que eu ia ver mais, mas a gente está falando de um ex-campeão, né, de um cara que está acostumado com 37 lutas aí na carreira, né, e eu com poucas lutas já, lutei com um cara desse, né, e fiz o que eu fiz hoje. Acho que se as pessoas pensassem, né, um pouquinho, vai me dar um crédito nisso.
Well, absolutely. You know what I mean? We talk about Jan Blachowicz, you know, very experienced guy. He have 37 professional fights. He's been seasoned, been through all, you know what I mean? Some people might expect a little more, but I think, you know what I mean, you can see my evolution on the ground and what I could show.
Nice. And also, you said you took over the last 2 rounds. He did get that leg takedown. How concerned were you at all? I mean, were you confident you were going to get the judge's decision, or were you worried at all that they might value that late takedown too much?
E com certeza você ganhou os últimos 2 rounds, mas teve aquela queda no terceiro. Você estava preocupado em dar a decisão para ele?
Não, no primeiro round ali, a gente começou, eu encaixei aquela guilhotina, mas eu falei, não vou puxar aqui, a gente já tinha planejado, tinha falado pra minha equipe, eu falei, vou ir na calma, então eu não me empolguei ali, esperei, teve aquele momento que ele foi nas minhas costas, que eu vi que ele se desgastou muito, e foi nítido, né, o cansaço dele, né, no segundo round, onde eu conectei muitos golpes duros ali. Então, no terceiro também, em último round, mesma coisa, sempre conectando, machucando a perna dele ali. E, sacanagem se colocar um round desse pra ele, no finalzinho colocar uma queda ali e não fazer nada, né, na queda. Não teve, que perigo que teve naquela queda. Então, claramente ali os 2 rounds meus.
No, I believe he won because, you know, first round, he put Jan on that guillotine. He didn't want to jump, but, you know, it was tight. Then on the end of the round, he got his back, but you saw how patient he stayed. Second round, clearly everybody saw how fatigued and gas Jan got from the first round. So, you know, you saw what happened through that round. You know, the third round, the same story. So that little takedown, he achieved no damage after that, anything like that. You'll be sad if somebody had gave the guy that fight.
Nice. Last thing for me, are you expecting a title fight next, and who do you think is the most deserving opponent?
A última para ele, está esperando uma luta do cinturão a próxima, e quem seria o seu oponente?
Bom, eu não sei, né? Eu acho que na minha visão, o mais difícil aí era o Ian mesmo. Bom, ex-campeão, um cara perigoso, todo mundo viu. Então, para mim, quem eles colocar, para mim não vai importar. Eu tô aqui para fazer o meu trabalho, eu gosto de fazer isso, vou treinar para dar um show e sair com mais uma vitória.
Man, anybody, you know what I mean? For me, I think the toughest guy that I could get is Jan, former champ. So whoever they put in front of me, I'm going to train and going to leave with the win.
Alex, over here. At the end of that second round, you were looking for that uppercut often, especially when Jan had his back to the cage. What did you see from Jan did you see an opening for him that led to that technique so often?
Pô, no segundo você tava bem, deu aquele upper nele, né? Que ele sentiu bem. Quando que você viu ali no segundo e começou a abrir para você?
Bom, vendo no primeiro round, né? Foi o que eu planejei. Eu vi a força que ele fez ali, né? Para tentar me finalizar, para ficar ali nas costas. Ele não estava confortável ali em cima, ele estava meio de lado ali em cima de mim, na grade. E eu estava o tempo todo ali tentando fazer ele ficar ali em cima mesmo, entendeu? Porque se de repente ele vai para o chão ali, aí ele descansa, entendeu? E aí a gente começa a cansar junto. Então foi bem estratégico, eu fiz ele cansar sozinho, é onde comecei a crescer na luta.
The opening for me was on the first round when he was on his back. Jan was on his back. That he knew he had to use a lot of energy to maintain that position, and he knew if maybe he put Jan on his back, he was able to rest, and they rest together. So he think that what took the turn on the fight was that first round, that grappling exchange, that he was able to perform better on the strikings after that due to his fatigue.
And last one for me, is any part of you surprised at how quickly you've ascended in the UFC? You had, 4 fights at middleweight and then you're champion, now 1 fight at light heavyweight, and you're most likely going to fight for the title next. Is any part of you surprised that your success has been so rapid?
Alguma parte de você está surpresa com um sucesso tão rápido que você está tendo no UFC? Por 4 lutas e depois o título mundial dos médios, agora uma já no meio pesado e vai lutar pelo cinturão. Tem algo dentro de você que você acha que está sendo rápido?
Bom, eu tô com as pessoas certas, com a equipe certa, empresário, amigos. Eu acho que isso faz uma grande diferença, né? E a minha dedicação, né? O que eu venho fazendo desde o kickbox, né? Fazendo até chegar aqui. E, meu trabalho é sério e eu só preciso de oportunidade. Se me dá oportunidade, eu mostro meu trabalho.
No, man, I'm not surprised. I have a great team. You know what I mean? My manager, my friends, you know what I mean? I live a good atmosphere, positive. And that's all that I need, man, a chance. Give me a chance and I'll show my work.
Tonight, Alex, you normally attack the body, but it seemed like you really emphasized it tonight. Was that part of the game plan?
Can you repeat for me, please?
He attacks the body a lot. Was that part of the game plan, like do it more tonight?
Bom, você já tem uma característica de atacar muito o corpo. Hoje foi uma coisa que você focou mais no corpo. Você tem uma característica que gosta de bater bastante no corpo. Parece que foi que mostrou bastante hoje. Isso foi uma coisa que você veio planejando?
Não, com certeza. Eu sempre faço isso. Eu acho que eu tenho uma variação muito boa de golpes, né? Tentei chutar ali, chutando na perna, colocando os golpes embaixo ali, o golpe no rosto. A gente tem que tentar variar o golpe ali para ver aonde que vai dar certo.
No, absolutely, man. I like to mix. You saw tonight I was attacking the body, attacking the leg, then attacking the head. I believe you got to mix to reach our objective.
Hey, Alex. You beat the guy that Israel Adesanya lost to at light heavyweight. Do you hope Israel comes up to light heavyweight and so that you can fight him again at light heavyweight?
Você ganhou do cara que ganhou do Adesanya no meio pesado, né? Você espera que o Israel suba para você lutar com ele no meio pesado?
Bom, quando eu sempre falo isso, quando eu saí do vestiário, né, na minha última luta com a Adesanya, antes até eu falei que, eu queria subir, né? Antes da luta eu falei isso, né? No meu corte de peso está sendo um pouco sofrido, né? E, planejei tudo, né? Queria ter um descanso, né? De corte de peso. Eu fiz a primeira luta agora, tenho certeza que eles vão me dar o cinturão, vou disputar o cinturão, E, eu vou descansar mais uma vez e ganhando esse cinturão, com certeza, eu gostaria mais uma luta com a Adesanya, mas eu faria na categoria de baixo, porque eu acho muito justo, né? Eu acho justo, porque a gente tem 2 lutas, né, empatado aí no MMA e é no peso médio, então acho que teria que ser a terceira luta no peso médio.
Well, before actually my last fight happened, when I made weight, you know what I mean, I told the guys that I was going to be for now taking a break from that weight class due that is getting hard a little bit, you know what I mean, too many cuts at the same, in a short span of time. So he went up to light heavyweight now. did this fight. He want to do one more fight, light heavyweight, take some time from all those cuts, and then he actually wants to fight him in the lower weight class, in middleweight, because on his mind is they are 1-1 at middleweight. He won one at middleweight, Israel won on the other one, so nothing more fair than make the trilogy at middleweight.
Gotcha. And then finally, there's a couple Glory kickboxers coming to compete on Dana White's Contender Series. Are you happy to see other high-level kickboxers coming over to MMA?
Pô, e agora estão chegando aí vários, né, outros kickboxers de alto padrão aí no Dana White Contender. Você tá feliz de ver essa galera aí vindo pro MMA?
Não, com certeza, né? Pô, tem o Yusri Belgari, pô, parceirão de treino. Tá comigo aí já faz 3 preparações, né? E vai lutar no Contender agora. É um cara que, pô, eu tenho certeza aí que vai ser um sucesso nessa categoria aí no médio. Pô, é um cara que eu conheço. E é isso, o Trator também, né? O Rodolfo também tá, o campeão da LFA, tá vindo aí também. Vai participar do Contender e, porra, esses 2 caras estão voando e, porra, tô muito feliz de ter eles aqui na minha preparação.
No, absolutely. It makes me happy, especially right now, for an example, User Belgari, you know what I mean, training partner, third camp that he's with us, and he's making his debut this month in the Contender Series. You know what I mean, great kickboxer, great fighter. Not only him, but also Rodolfo Tractor Bellato also making his debut. He's fighting in the Contender Series, training with us too. So seeing these guys in the trying to get that contract and that chance makes me really happy.
Alex, você fez a primeira luta no meio pesado hoje. Qual que é a diferença que você sentiu na mão do Ian com que você estava acostumado na categoria de baixo?
Bom, cara, diferença nenhuma, né? Um cara forte ali, mas eu, tava absorvendo bem os golpes, então ele me acertou alguns golpes, mas nada assim de fazer eu sentir, então isso me deixou mais confiante, né? E fazer o que eu fiz.
Well, he was asked if coming from middleweight and fighting Ian today, if he feel a difference on the power on the stand-up exchanges compared to the power of middleweights. And he say, Ian, you know, tough guy, but he didn't feel too much difference today.
E você acha que a luta foi também uma resposta para quem ainda duvida de você? Porque você defendeu a finalização ali no primeiro round e teve outros momentos da luta que você conseguiu defender quedas também. Você acha que é uma resposta para pessoas que duvidam que você pode fazer isso?
Não, com certeza, né? Algumas pessoas vão falar, pô, mas eu não vi muita coisa. Claro, a gente está falando do ex-campeão, né? Um cara duro. Então, é difícil você mostrar. E o que eu mostrei, eu acho que foi muito legal.
Well, he asked also if this was a response for who was questioning his grappling. Because this fight, you could see he got taken down. He was able to defend the submissions and work on. And Alex say absolutely, because, you know what I mean, he fought former champ today, very seasoned guy, and I think that shows.
How are you feeling physically? It doesn't really even look like you were just in a fight.
Como é que você está se sentindo fisicamente? Nem parece que você tinha lutado agora.
Estou me sentindo muito bem. Como falei para vocês, uma perda de peso, uma perda de peso muito boa. Eu diria aí 20, 30% aí de sofrimento, né, com as outras. Mas como eu falei para vocês, preciso ter esse descanso e eu volto e fica tudo certo. Recarregar a bateria.
Nah, he feels good, man. You know what I mean? He feels energized, recharged compared to the few other weight, because this one was only 20 to 30% compared to the other ones. But like he say, he just need a little break to rest a little bit, and he's gonna do some finished business at middleweight.
Chama.
Thanks, guys.
Justin, congratulations. Obviously, the BMF belt, avenging a loss, another highlight reel finish. I mean, what did this performance mean for you tonight?
Life's crazy, man. I thank God every day for this ride, and it means everything. Yeah, to work that hard for something and find success is a special feeling.
It's awesome. You knew there would be some adversity going in, right? He stung you a little bit in the opening round. Were there any surprises or anything different this time around that you weren't expecting?
I was surprised by myself. How good I fought. It was amazing.
That's a nice thing to be surprised about. Nothing that he did in there that bothered you, that the left hand that he landed, that caused you any trouble?
Obviously, that's what I thought about every day for the last 12 weeks is the left hand. That thing's dangerous. Yeah, I really didn't want to get hit by it, but today my coach said, don't worry about it. That's not what we're worried about. We're worried about fighting your fight. And I went in there and I did that.
I love it. You said, as you mentioned, you were throwing the high kick early on, right? I mean, when you're throwing it out there, were you like, oh, this is going to be the shot that ultimately catches him?
No way. It's a second at a time in there. So, I didn't even really understand that was working in the first round. I just was trying not to get hit by that left hand pretty much.
This obviously, as you said, was great for legacy, but I mean, it would seem very much the winner of Islam and Charles would be next for you. I mean, is there anything else in the division, any other matchup, anything that makes sense other than you versus the winner of that fight?
We'll see, man. The UFC is the guys. They make the calls, so we'll see what happens. I have no idea.
Would you go out there to be there, or be around the fight? Would you want to be a backup so that you're involved? I mean, is that anything that appeals to you?
I'd want to go watch it. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to be a backup.
Fair enough.
Unless they pay me a shit ton of money, then maybe.
Then maybe, yeah. That works. All right. Well, it seems like it should be next. I guess last thing for me. Do you feel like at some point, obviously the title would be next, but somewhere down the road, this is a trilogy that needs to be settled between you two?
In the cage after the fight, I said, "Hey, man, if we let's both agree to never fight each other again." I said, "Unless you have to have it, then I'm here." But we're 1-1, so we'll see. I would never deny him that opportunity, just like he did not deny me that opportunity. But I don't want it to be my next fight.
Justin, over here. Dustin was in here earlier, and he said that the high kick, he wasn't really expecting that because you don't throw it often. So was that part of the game plan, or did you just throw it once and then just kept throwing it again?
I wouldn't. The game plan has nothing to do with offense. It's all about defense and controlling angles, controlling distance. So the strikes that I landed were, I trust in my intuition so much, and I rely on that. And that's how I fight.
Last one for me. I'm sure you've been asked about it, and you saw the tweets. Connor said, fuck Chandler. If you want it, ask for it. He's the real BMF. Do you have a response to him?
I think he's turned me down 6 times. So, and usually you have to lose to fight him, so I don't know what's going on.
Justin, right here. You hit the backflip tonight. How good did that feel? It's been a minute.
It feels good. Yeah. Life's crazy, man. This is such a cool life. Couldn't imagine I'd be here as a child. I thank God every day for this.
And 12 bonuses and 12 fights again.
Really, it's 12 bonuses and 10 fights. I didn't bonus in 2 fights. I double bonus in 2 fights. So I like 12 out of 10 better, but it is 12 out of 12, kind of.
We asked you before the fight, about who, Islam or Charles. Now that it's over and it seems like there's a much more clear path, do you have any different feelings about who you'd like to fight?
I prefer Charles because he beat me. I'm a competitor. I love, this chance at redemption was amazing. It drove me to work harder, be ready, more. But they're the best in the world, and I want to fight the best in the world. After the last fight, I couldn't see Charles winning, but, I can hope.
And just to circle back to the Connor thing, it's always kind of been floating out there, but to have him, speaking your name and like putting it out there, is it almost like a gratifying feeling a little bit that now he seems to be the one who's chasing you?
I don't know. I don't really care.
Why do you feel that way?
Because I don't care. Yeah, whatever. I fight MMA. I like to fight big fights. I like exciting things. So it sounds pretty exciting to me. I'm not going to fight someone on steroids. I've never taken steroids in my life, never will. Well, maybe when I retire I might, but I've never taken steroids, and I don't want to fight someone that is cheating. So, and I probably shouldn't even say that if I want to fight, but it's the truth.
Thank you.
Justin, congrats on the win, first of all. How do you feel that this win is not only your win, but also a win for the Hispanic community, that side of your mom, the Mexican side? How does that feel, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, this is, outside of soccer, and soccer doesn't necessarily have the United States. I think this is the most worldwide sport. The farther away from these borders I go, the more popular I am. And that is absolutely amazing. For the people that do know that my mom is of Mexican heritage, I have so much family down there, and I'm sure they're shooting fireworks, doing whatever they got to do. I mean, I just inspire the world. That's what I'm here for, and that's what I prayed for every day, is the chance to inspire the world. And I think that we all face a constant battle of believing in ourselves. And I wish I believed in myself as much as my coaches and my family, but, again, this feels great.
Thank you.
Hey, Justin. I don't know if you saw Tony Ferguson's fight, but I just wanted your thoughts on that one.
Love that dude. Fighting is dangerous, unforgiving. And, hell, he didn't take an ass whooping. He dropped him in the first round. Same thing he did against Chandler. I think it's good and bad, because I think he... We always have a chance. If you step in there, you have a chance. And, I'm not his family. I'm not close to him. So it's not my call. I have no idea.
Thanks, Sam.
Justin, now that you have the title, does the significance of it feel any different than when you were talking about it all week long?
Well, like I said, it's a pretty belt. It's going to look great in my house. I mean, it's special. Whether this was on the line tonight or not, I did something special tonight. I'm a little bit petty, so I loved Jorge Masvidal while wrapping it around me.
I was going to ask you about that. He put it over your shoulder. Did you want it around your waist, or did you want it over your shoulder?
I didn't care. It's everything's happening so fast, you don't even know what's going on.
Would you defend that belt if you could get pay-per-view points if the title shot isn't next?
I got pay-per-view points this time. Who knows? We'll see. I have a team around me. I say yes to everything, so I don't trust in myself to make those choices.
Oh, Justin in the middle. What'd you think of Utah, Salt Lake City? How was your time here? Did you feel the elevation? How did training go? Just what'd you like or not like about this place?
I live in Denver, so we're 1,000 feet higher. That allowed me to have more confidence in my cardio. But, man, when these guys let me fight at this pace, I can fight all night like that. I felt great. I love this city. It's so clean. People are nice. It's beautiful. I love to play golf here. A lot of beautiful golf courses.
Thanks.
Justin, actually, one more right here. Did you see the video of Kamaru's reaction to your knockout?
No, not yet. I can't wait. My dad cried, though. That made me proud.
Is that the first?
He says no, but is that the first time I made him cry? He probably cried when I was born.
So it's been a minute.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you guys. Yes.
Hey, Justin, you work so hard. I know you give back to the community and Colorado, and you come from small town Stafford and Gila Valley, and everyone back there is such a huge fan, and they push for you. Is there anything you want to say to all your hometown friends back in Stafford, and Thatcher, Gila, and Greeley County?
I mean, it doesn't matter where you're from. It's who you are. It's how hard you work. The town that I grew up in had half the amount of people that were in the stadium tonight. So, you could be anything you want. You just have to work your ass off and believe in yourself.
Thank you.
Good, Kenny. Miranda, over here.
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations on the win, back in the win column. I guess, what are the emotions after a victory like that to kick off this card?
They're great. Every time I get a finish, it's high emotions, especially with my dad in my corner again. You guys see, every time I get a win, it's kind of our deal. He rides me around the cage like that. So I'm glad not only to get a win, but to be back on such a short notice, take a fight on short notice, and win in a dominant fashion. Last time, some health things came into play in the second round, but no excuses. Jasmine did a great job, and I was looking to get back in there and show that that's not me, who you guys saw last fight.
You did mention this was a short notice fight, so how much time did you have to prepare, or was there even a game plan? Was there enough time to put together something for
There was
Priscilla?
time to go over a game plan. To be honest, Cachoeira is a fairly simplistic opponent as far as what I had to watch out for. Knew she was a heavy hitter, knew that she had good hands, and knew that she could be a bully in the cage. And went in there cautious, knowing that she's also had some times that were questionable in fights. Protect my eyes, protect everything. Hands got stuck where they shouldn't have multiple times, which was kind of frustrating, but I wanted to soften her up, make sure I didn't have to worry about anything by the time I went for a submission.
I was going to ask about that later on, but in that third round, it seems like the most egregious one when she was kind of holding your top when you were coming down with elbows. Do you think that should have been a point deduction or something? Because it looked like the ref just moved her hand and then you guys continued.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you got to say it's a point, I mean, she stuck her fingers up straight the entire fight pretty much, and there was no chance that she was just trying to push me off. There was no flat hands. I had warned the ref beforehand, and to be honest, I think he did about good of a job as I've seen any ref do. I said, listen, I don't want poked in the eyes in this fight. That's my main priority, and he was like, all right, we'll watch out for it. I hope that the whole world didn't see me, but they probably did, and I guess that's part of the risk of fighting, but it was very frustrating, and it made me go in there that much angrier every round.
I have to ask about your entrance with the song and the
Yeah.
aviators and everything. What was the thought going to that? Was it just a nod to your last name, Maverick?
Yeah, exactly. My last name's Maverick. I think it's one of the best names in the sport, I mean, Michael Chiesa is fighting tonight, and he has the nickname, but he doesn't have the real name. So I go in there repping that every time. Top Gun's kind of the perfect entrance with it, and I love the movie, I love the song, I love America, so it all goes together.
And final one for me, short notice fight, but when do you want to get back in there? Do you want to keep this activity, or would you like a full camp? And
Absolutely, I love money. I love money, and activity equals money, right? I want to get in there at least one more time by the end of the year, but I would like to spend holidays with my family. So if I can get in there early November, even October, I stay in shape, I stay ready, I keep my weight low, as you guys can see by the short notices I've had in the UFC, and I'm ready to do the same thing. If they offer me something in 2 weeks, I'm there.
If you could kind of walk me through that finish, you took the top mount, and I thought at one point you were going to drop some elbows, maybe get a little vicious, but you end up going the arm bar. Was that something that you kind of assumed that if it presented itself, you were just going to take that and get the quick out?
Well, I was finally off the cage, It's a little bit more dangerous to go for a submission when they have something near them that they can posture up against. I'd softened her up plenty, thrown a lot of elbows, thrown a lot of punches, and she kept just sticking those hands up there, pure for the taking for an arm bar. And I just wanted to wait until I had her in enough pain and stuff that she wouldn't fight it off as much as she would have the first or second round. I couldn't even tell you what round it was hardly at this point. There's so much adrenaline going on, but I knew once I had that arm bar, she wasn't getting out without a broken arm. And I think she pretty much tapped right at the beginning, then she held on again, then she tapped again, and I just waited for the ref to grab a hold of me before I let go of it.
Awesome. Congrats on the victory.
Thank you very much.
Miranda,
Yes.
you had some huge pops from the second and third round, specifically the takedowns. I'm just curious, how did you like fighting in Utah?
Oh, it was great. I was supposed to fight in Utah last year, and it got canceled late on Thursday night against Shanna Young because of a weight issue. And so I was really happy to come in here and put it in front of fans, finally get to show up and show out instead of just sitting in the crowd watching.
I got to ask you, based off of that as well, I'm a Salt Lake City reporter, did the elevation at all affect you during this fight, or did you not feel that at all?
Not at all, but I'm from Denver. I've been training in Denver now for 2 years. I think it's a big advantage coming in here. I knew she's from the Miami area or MMA Masters, wherever that is in Florida, and I knew that was going to be one advantage, but I was going in there expecting a 15-minute war regardless, and I was ready. Thanks.
All right, back here, Miranda.
Yes, sir.
Quick question. With you coming back so soon, was there any concern with the eyes? I knew you were taking eye drops before the fight and all that. Was there any concern?
Concerns. There's always concerns, especially with this opponent. My dad was like, I'm going to jump over the cage if she pokes you in the eye. And, the Jillian Robertson fight, it was very intentional. She tried to literally gouge her eyes out. So we were very cautious. Like I said, we sat back in the back, told the ref, please watch out for this. I've had retina surgeries in the past. I don't really want to go blind in this sport, although I love it and have given it my all every time. time. I don't really want them to take my eyes from me in the process. So I was being careful, and like I said, that was part of the reason I waited for the arm bar and everything else. Every time she'd stick her arms up, tried to get him out of the way and pull some damage.
Right. Change gears a little bit here. The loss to Jasmine, you got a lot of negative, like death threats and stuff like that on social media. Has that changed the way you interact with fans?
No, not at all. It's been happening since the beginning. Last fight was worse than it's ever been, I'd say, because of the money people bet on it. If somebody bets, it's not my responsibility how much money you win or lose. It's not like I'm getting a cut of it, or else maybe I'd take a little bit of the empathy with it. But yeah, there was a lot of hate last time, and I'm sure there will be the same people turning around and saying they love me today. It's an unforgiving sport. I'm prepared to have that every time I step in the cage, and it's happened since the beginning as an amateur. If you're going to be in any kind of professional aspect, a spotlight of any sort, you're going to get that hate. I just always hope that it doesn't actually come to fruition, and keep myself protected at all times.
Gotcha. Last one for me. Big arena, crowd, the pops and everything. Do you think maybe, going in there with the performance you had, maybe you inspired little sister to stay in MMA?
And maybe, she had a lot of thought going into it. My little sister's still a great training partner, no doubt. Maybe she'll come back eventually. She's only 19 years old. But I'm not one of those people that's going to be telling her to do it. If she doesn't want to do it with her life, she has so much potential to do other things. I do as well. I hate it to say when a lot of people only have fighting as their future. And she doesn't, and I don't. And if she doesn't have it all going into this sport, just like anyone, if you aren't putting everything into this sport every single day, you're probably not going to make it to the top. And this is not a sport that's fun getting to the top. You got to be poor, you got to put in hours, you can't spend time with family. You kind of just got to go out on your own, be selfish, be uncaring about anything else other than putting your life on the line every day.
And earlier we were talking about nicknames. I know this is for sure my last one, but any thought to changing your nickname to Top Gun?
There's been thought. I have the thought of trademarks and all that can come into play and question, and so I don't want to get in trouble with that aspect. But also, I believe in the whole somebody else gives you your nickname. And even though Top Gun's a pretty cool nickname, I think Maverick alone's good enough. It started out as Miranda the Maverick, and people didn't know what Maverick meant, which that's unfortunate. Go look it up. All right, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. I'm glad that I got to be in Salt Lake.
Kudos right here. You're limping a little bit when you walked up to the stage right now. Physically, how are you feeling after that fight?
Good. Yeah, it's been a minute. I had a lot of stuff happen in the past year and few months. I'm happy. I worked really hard. I knew that things have to come together at some point. I'm doing the right thing day in, day out. It has to come together, and if it doesn't, it's still fine. I don't get disappointed because, again, I'm doing the right thing for me, for my family, for the team. So, yeah, I'm happy. That's all I can say.
What was going on with your life in the last few months?
I had a surgery on my hand. I had an injury. It's a long time. It's an old injury, right? I was dragging it, and I knew it's going to have to get a surgery at some point. I had it when I fought Turner. Like 2 weeks out, I couldn't really punch with my left hand, It heals up, gets better. I fought after that. I fought again. I won. Then I booked another fight, and 4 weeks out of the fight, I heard it probably the worst time I ever heard it. And I heard it many times. I thought, okay, it's gonna heal up, and maybe I'll be able to train again. 4 weeks, 5 weeks later, gets better. I go train for a week, boom, heard it again, and it gets much worse. And that's when we started looking into getting a surgery. I did treatments to try and treat it. It's a joint that got injured between between the two bones. So I didn't break it, but the joint got smashed between the bones. So what they had to do is pull a piece of bone from lower in my wrist, and then they inserted that piece of bone in between the bones where the joint is and fused it with the titanium. And now it's good. It's not the same as it was, but it's good. You know, this hand, I've had so many injuries on it, but it's still bringing it home, you know? So I'm happy.
So with that injury and the surgery, in the actual fight itself, did you feel anything in there at all with that hand, or did you feel like a different fighter, a new fighter?
I mean, it feels same. It's hurt a little bit right now. It's swollen. I can see it already. But it's not hurting where I had the surgery, so I'm pretty confident that it's going to be okay.
In the actual fight, tough first round, came back to win. We heard his corner. His corner says that they think you won the second round, that he would have to come out quickly in the third to possibly pull out a decision. I'm curious, how did the fight play out, and from your preparation to what actually went down?
I wasn't too concerned about what's going on, who's winning, who's losing. I tried to focus on what do I need to do to put a good performance, right? I need to stay composed, you know, get my combinations in, do my defense, stay on the outside, don't gas myself out. We're at the altitude. Those are the things that were going through my mind, you know, take deep breaths, stay calm. And yeah, things just came together. I started hurting him to the body.
Yeah.
I think I saw it on him a little bit. He did have a good poker face, so I think I hurt him even earlier, but he was showing. And yeah, when the finish was there, as I said in a previous interview over there, I didn't see the footage yet. I don't know exactly what happened. I did get rocked. Yeah. I found myself on my back. I got up. I did sneak in some shots from the ground with my up kicks, as I remembered. And then in the second round, I think I even dropped him kicking up.
Yep.
And yeah, here we are.
And that 1-2 followed by the spinning back fist, fake elbow, you kind of hit him with your forearm. Is that something you practiced for this fight, or did you just
if you guys remember, Beneil Dariush had a finish just a few years ago.
And Scott Holtzman.
I mean, we train. That's my main training partner. I love him to death. Just like all the guys at King's MMA, we train so hard together. They've all had my back. Whatever, you know. It's been a year that I didn't fight, and they've all trained with me, whatever I needed, whenever I needed. Benny went through hell and back, lost his fight against Charles. So many things happened in that camp. I was a witness. I'm not really going to get into details because he didn't either. Charles was the better man that night. But that wasn't Benny that I know, and I wish I could get that fight back for him as the Benny that I know. I think Benny beats him 9 out of 10 times. And that was that one of those times. And I was saying in previous interview, you know, it's not comparable to any other sport. When you have an off night, the other guys I scored 10 points instead of 30 tonight. You know, for us, you get your ass handed to you in front of everybody to see, and then everybody point a finger and like, he lost the fight. But it just happened to be that kind of night for him, and it happens to everybody. So it happened to me once. It happens to the best in the world. It just happens.
So final question for me about you and Beneil. What would you like for both of your careers moving forward, like for your next fight?
I just keep winning. I mean, keep working hard, keep winning. We both love to fight. You guys should see us train together. It's always a great training session, a lot of laughs. Yeah, it's just, I miss him. I haven't seen him. I've been here 3 weeks. I can't wait to be back. Giga just got a fight booked after a while. Giga's been working his ass off, training nonstop, and they couldn't get him a fight. And gets booked, gets canceled, gets booked, gets canceled. There's talk about this, talk about that. Nothing for certain, and now he gets something booked for Singapore. So I can't wait to be back to help Giga out, and I think he's going to do very well because he did upgrade in this time that he had. So, yeah, that's my team. You know, we're a bunch of winners. Even when we lose, we're still winners.
Roche, right over here. Mm-hmm. Just to kind of follow up about Beneil Dariush, it's been a couple months since the Charles Oliveira loss. How's he doing now?
He's doing great. We talked recently. He wished me good luck. He's doing great. He's training. You can see the pictures online on the Instagram. He's training. And I haven't been there for a couple of weeks. I came out here earlier. So, yeah, I'm excited to be back, you know, to see how everybody's doing. Excited to be back in California. So, yeah.
to kind of follow up, being here for 3 weeks, we saw Ramsey Nijem in your corner, a
Yes.
Utah legend amongst the state.
Yeah.
What was it like being able to train with him and have him get you ready for your fight?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, me and Ramsey, we've only knew each other for now a couple of weeks, and we're basically best friends. Like, we get along really well. We trained hard together. He helped me a lot. He woke up that beast inside of me. You know, he mentioned like things about me leaving home, leaving places, like to do these things, showing up here all by myself, not knowing anybody, to just train and get ready to go fight some dude. So for him, he found inspiration in all of that. And I found the beast inside of me when he mentioned all of that, what he sees in me. I almost forgot what am I even doing, you know? So it's crazy. I'm crazy. Yeah.
You kind of said it over here in the middle. You kind of said it after the fight, just competing in Utah. Take me through what it was like being in Salt Lake City. Did you like fighting here? Did you feel the elevation? Just what did you like or not like about this place?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I could see myself I don't know about living in the city, but I would like to live here in the state of Utah. And I think I've spent some time at the Snowbird. My friend, now he's my friend. We met here. I stayed with him, and while I trained with Ramsey, Ramon is a friend of mine. He let me stay at his place, and he works somewhere in Snowbird. And yeah, he showed me around. We went visit resorts. It is so beautiful. Like it reminds me a lot of Alaska, and I've spent 6 years in Alaska. It's super nice. I could see myself spending more time here, especially in the wintertime.
So you like the beauty, but you didn't feel the elevation, or because you?
I did feel the elevation for sure, especially when I arrived. It's different. It's summertime. It's hot. It's dry. I did feel it. Yeah, I trained hard. I mean, if I feel it, everybody feel it. So what are you gonna do? You know, I'm sure Justin tonight is gonna do well because he does train at elevation year round. I'm excited to see that fight. Unfortunately, they won't let us stay to watch the fights here live, but I'm hoping to see it at the hotel. Yeah, I'm cheering. He's with my management team, Dominance MMA, so I'm hoping Justin wins tonight. Yeah, it's a big night for everybody. This is a huge fight and a big year overall. 30 years of this. I mean, what a company. I'm 30 years old, and it's just I can't believe it. When I was a kid, it wasn't my favorite thing to watch live, you know. But then over the period of time, the regulations, the rules, everything kind of changed and came together into this wonderful sport. I'm very blessed to be here and thankful for the opportunity.
One back here real quick. You just said it yourself, 30 years old, 30th anniversary. You going to try and get on that 30th anniversary card later this year?
I would like to. When is it, the 30th anniversary?
Ooh, I think it's 295 is November, right?
November, yeah. I would like to. Why not? I mean, why not? If I'm healthy, if I'm ready, let's go. I would hope to fight in Paris. This is what I wanted, because then I can go to Europe and see my family and see everybody. I do need UFC to help me out with my immigration so I can sort that out. I'm good here, but for some reason, I'm still waiting on the travel documentation to be sorted out. And immigration system is not the fastest system working around here. So, and I understand they've got a lot of work to do. So I'm patient, but again, at some point, I'm like, what's going on? You know, where do we begin and where does it end? Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
accurately? Well, Jake, right front right here, other way, other side.
Hey, how's it going?
First of all, congratulations on the win. Back in the win column, I guess. What are the emotions after a violent finish like that here in Utah?
Yeah, just relief to be able to get back in and get in the win column. Not relief because we didn't think we would win. We went in very confident, but relief because I suffered an injury in May, didn't get to fight. It's just long layoff after long layoff, and we're trying to stay as active as we can, but just, yeah, opponents pulling out, getting injured, opponents getting COVID the morning of the fight. You know what I mean? It hasn't been the best run, but hopefully now we've got the ball rolling, and now we can start getting more consistent.
Was there fear of not fighting on this card?
Yeah, even my cornerman didn't really know, but it's a big emotional roller coaster because we're away from the family for 2 weeks, you know, or more. All the work we've put in, and we're in the city we're going to fight in without an opponent.
Yeah.
And you know, being America, I was pretty confident they'd get us someone. Anywhere else around the world, I probably wouldn't have ended up fighting. Yeah. And I don't know what the go is there. You know, such a long layoff. You know, we do want to make sure that we're getting in and fighting as frequently as we can. For many reasons, just to keep the ring rust off, support the families back home. You know, got coaches to pay, so it was a big relief when Derrick stepped up.
Mentally, what was it like? Like you said, you're in camp, but you don't have an opponent, so you don't really know what to prepare for. You don't know when to go all out or kind of dial back. So mentally, what was going on in camp without an opponent here?
We just focused on acclimating. We just focused on that, enjoying the city, getting out, seeing some sights, getting used to the altitude. You know, my second cornerman that was on the way, he's like, "Do I get on the plane or not?" We're like, "We don't know." And then it's like the night before he was leaving, we got the opponent. So and then it was just a big rush. Watch all these fights, and just for anyone who's not sure, I believe it's harder for the fighter who was already going to fight than the person who stepped up last minute, because we have to completely change good habits that we've made in 7 or 8 weeks of training. Whereas, like, I'd love it if they called me up and said fight in a week. I would absolutely love that. Nothing to lose. Go in first round, try and swing and take the head off, which is what Darius did. And we just had to weather the early storm, wait for him to wear out and get the finish. So we implemented that pretty well.
Well, kind of going off of that, how did the fight play out in terms of your expectations against Darius?
Yeah, he come out a little different than we thought. So usually he's very forward and backward in terms of explosiveness. So he'd explode, and then I'll take the center of the ring again. He'd explode, I'll take the center of the ring. But he just kept that constant forward pressure, which threw me off initially. And I was like, okay, it's going to be high volume trading in the pocket here. And then yeah, he was very calm. You know, it wasn't the kind of wasn't what you'd expect from someone who's in their first fight. He was very composed, actually, which sort of threw me for the first couple of minutes. You know, he wasn't throwing his head wild like he usually does. He was actually quite composed, which is the opposite. Normally they're composed before the UFC and they lose their shit in the UFC, but he did very well. Props to him.
What did you think of that fake out he did, where it looked like he was rocked, and when he ran in, he's like kind of snapped up and pointed and laughed at you? I
mean, I'm always cautious when I think I've got someone hurt. So that played in my favour at that time. But I mean, it's part of the game. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's legal. He can do it if he wants.
Did you think it was a low blow?
I started second guessing myself, and then the crowd started booing. I was like, man, I love Salt Lake. I don't want the fans here to hate me, but I don't think they were booing me at the end of the day. I was told that it was low, but then people that were watching from the outside, they said no, it was on the belt of the shorts, which is not necessarily low, but who knows? He's a martial artist. I like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Believe that we're all honest people. Maybe it caught his shorts, maybe it pulled his cup up. So if it was low, I do apologise, and I'll just keep it more consistent next time.
And in terms of your career, I know you said you want to stay active. Is the goal to be on that Sydney card? I would assume you want to fight in Australia.
Look, we haven't sat. I mean, in my mind, it was this fight and then potentially Abu Dhabi.
Oh yeah.
It's the only reason is I love Australia. I think I've watched one UFC live in my life.
Oh. Wow.
So it'd actually be good to go and relax and watch one. And being in Sydney would be a great one to go to. But the reason is there's so many Aussie UFC fighters now, and the first half of a decade of my career was pretty much all on Australian cards. And it comes to mind when Sean Shelby said, if you want big fights, big opponents, you have to go overseas eventually. You can keep fighting in Australia, but we're not going to be able to get these ranked guys to you. You got to go to them. So that always stuck in the back of my mind. So that's why when I say I'm not fussed if I fight in Australia or not, that's the reason why.
Sure.
And I wouldn't have missed this event for the world. BMF title, huge fight, huge card. All finishes so far. I think it was like sub knockout. It's just it's such a good card to be a part of.
Is there any names you want in Abu Dhabi?
Kevin Holland called me out at weigh-in. Like we're fighting in. Like,
What did he say?
I called him out a long time ago because I was trying to get. I think it was when my opponent pulled out and I was in Vegas, and I was calling everyone out. Ponzinibbio blocked me on Instagram, by the way, because Kevin Holland, everyone. And then he goes, "Jake, did you call me out?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "We're fighting in 2 weeks." I'm like, "Relax, man. Like we'll fight, but we'll see, let's win these fights first." So if he did mean that, then we could tear that up. That'd be a fun fight. I've wanted that for a long time.
And then last one for me, unrelated to the fight. Is that the brand of sacrifice tattooed behind your ear?
So this is it's a wolf symbol. So it's an old Celtic warrior symbol. Just so happens that it's from an anime and it's on the exact same spot in the anime. So now I'm like contemplating getting it taken off, to be honest, because all I get asked is if I'm an anime fan. I've never watched an anime in my life, to be honest. I might have to watch it.
He's a big anime fan. That's why.
Yeah. Is it Berserk?
Yeah, I have that on my shit.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah.
So now you got to keep it.
I'll have to keep it. I'll keep it.
Well, speaking of the potential low kick, I think when you go back and you watch, you'll even hear Rogan say the ball of your foot actually hit him in the abdomen, so it looked like the most damage was going in that, and then maybe your heel kind of then dug into it as you followed through it. So I think you'll be fine with it once you see it. But what I thought was interesting is after that, you immediately threw it first. That was like the first strike you did back. Is that partially to just kind of clear that and not become afraid of using that weapon because it was potentially a low blow, or was that just a big part of the game plan that you were hoping to use?
It was part of the game plan, which we're at the back warming up. My coach goes, "Man, your teeps are very good. Like you should use them." So I was like, "Oh, I'll use them." And then that's what sort of zapped him, I think, more than anything. So it was just that one that was a bit lower. I did it off a switch stance. The rest of them were off the lead foot. So I just went back to throwing him off the lead foot, and it was just purely based on the fact that I knew it was zapping his energy. So I wanted to keep throwing him, and then I saw his hand started dropping to cover it. After that, so I was like, okay, there's some openings there, and then he shot.
And there's a couple of times where you guys definitely either just decided to stand right in front of each other and just kind of throw bombs. Do you welcome those sort of exchanges just to kind of test the chin and see who's got the better one, or did it sort of surprise you that he was willing to kind of just stand in there and just start throwing like that?
No, we knew he was gonna. We knew he was going to come out first round. Like I said, these guys have nothing to lose. I always said, I wish the UFC would message me and be like, hey, outside in the parking lot right now. That would be my ideal UFC fight because no time to think about it. You go in and just fight. So I sort of envy that as opposed to having 8 weeks to just sit and dwell on an opponent and then you don't even end up fighting that opponent. You've got to quickly switch to another opponent. So, but yeah, it was there's a lot of just re-strategizing pretty much. And he, like I said before, he come out completely different to what we thought. He was a lot more composed and a lot more just steady. So I was ready for those exchanges, but my coach probably isn't too happy. But I love getting drawn into those exchanges. It's just like the unknowing. I love the unknowing, and when you get into those exchanges, it's like you're going to hit me, or I'm going to hit you. One of us is going to go out. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. And we often hear fighters when they have like short notice fights. A lot of times, some guys they don't pay attention really to so much a game plan specifically for an opponent. They always just kind of work on what bits of their fight game they need to work at. But it sounds like you're the type that you guys did want to look at, film. You wanted to see what sort of stuff. And did you alter the game plan according to what you thought he would bring out there?
Yeah, we did. Initially, we wanted to start the fight the same as the last opponent, but then obviously the last opponent wasn't gonna shoot. Probably likely not to shoot it at all, and he wasn't going to stand and trade, and not as good off the back foot. Whereas Darius didn't really give me the forward pressure at all. He sort of kept me moving backwards. So yeah, there was some retweaking there, and completely different. The last guy was 6'2", 6'3". Darius is a lot shorter, a lot smaller. He's likely to shoot as well. So it was a complete 180 from the opponent that we did have. So it was just a big scramble. And to be honest, like you said, sometimes going into a fight and just focusing on what you're good at is the better option. So we have a balance. We don't like to look at opponents too much because it's mentally draining, but you do need to know their strengths and weaknesses, and you do need to know where you can take advantage of your strengths.
And last thing for me, when you got the choke on him, it almost looked like he was ready to tap before you ever secured it in. Could you feel that he was sort of waning in those moments? I think the commentary team said that you beat him into submission because he was willing to tap before you ever secured it. Could you notice that at the very end?
Yeah, look, when we hit the ground, I could feel I thought I was going to TKO initially, and then I learned this from he's no longer in the UFC, but Zuba Tukukov. So he actually came out to Melbourne. We trained with him, And he implanted that in my head. He said, don't rush, don't force submission. He said, let them give it to you. Because then you know that's you're going to get 100%. You know, if you jump on something and rush, you're likely to fall off or they're likely to defend. If they give their back and they're willing to tap, that's when you've got it. And there's no better feeling. You know, you can get a quick sub or a quick knockout. There's no better feeling than making someone quit and break them down. It's a bit sadistic, I guess, but I like breaking people down over time like that. We always say, use the scalpel first, and then hit him with the hammer later. Yeah, thank you.
Any more questions?
Was it just Zubair you trained with, or was there any other Dagestanis that you trained with?
It was just Zubo at that time that came out to Melbourne. Yeah, I think it was after the Perth card. They all went off elsewhere, and he came down and met us.
One more right over here.
Yep.
5 of your 8 submission wins are by rear naked choke. Would you say that is your favorite submission?
It's probably just the most common one that we end up in. You don't really see many subs off your back. I think in my early fights, it was all triangle chokes. That was one of my main subs. But, everyone's good on the ground now. You don't want to be playing off your back against anyone. It's a really hard game to try and play guard. So yeah, I mean, there's if you trap an arm or trap their legs, which I sort of sat back on Darius's legs, if you hit them, there's only really one way they can turn, and that's to give their back up. So that's why it's such a very common submission. And due to that, we work it so much because it's a very common position to end up in.
Kevin's pretty good in his guard.
Sorry?
Kevin Holland's pretty good in his guard.
He is, yeah. I might have to test it out. Thank you. All done. Thanks, guys.
Roman, right here in front. First of all, congratulations on the victory. Pretty back and forth war in there. So I guess physically and emotionally, how are you feeling after a fight like that?
Поздравляю с победой. Прежде всего, такой как бы туда-сюда бой, то ты, то он. После такой победы как себя чувствуешь?
Здравствуйте. Спасибо большое за поздравления. Все замечательно. Чувствуем себя хорошо. Готовы дальше идти в бой. По поводу боя, да, в конце немножечко застоялся. Дал интригу для зрителей. И я думаю, еще интереснее было смотреть, да. Ну и во втором раунде, как планировали, закончили.
Yeah, thank you so much for the congratulations. First of all, I feel great. I'm ready to keep moving forward. And regarding the fight, yeah, at the end of the first round, kind of stood around in front of him for a little bit and kind of gave the audience a little bit of an intrigue, to make sure that you keep watching. And then in the second round, did exactly what we planned, finished the fight.
So was that planned to kind of let the fight go a little longer before the finish, or was he actually finding success in there?
То есть у тебя был такой план чуть-чуть продлить бой, или все-таки он какой-то удачи добился в конце первого раунда?
Пропускать плана не было. Да, чуть-чуть я говорю, что застоялся немножко, и из-за этого я пропустил несколько лишних ударов.
Yeah, of course, obviously, I didn't plan to be missing a lot of shots, but it's because I stood in front of him, and that was my mistake, and that's why he was successful with a couple of punches.
Walk us through the head kick, because it seemed like he was finding a little bit of success before you landed that big blow and before he finished. So walk us through that technique.
Проговори, пожалуйста, про удар в голову с ноги. Такое впечатление, что он чуть-чуть удачно по тебе попадал, и ты в это время как раз-таки ударил его ногой. Это то, что ты видел? Как ты знал, что это зайдет сейчас?
По поводу удара ногой, мы смотрели, предварительно же бои его разбирали, готовили, да. Первый раунд я несколько раз попал по печени, тем самым опустив его руки. Во втором раунде в начале я увидел, что руки он совсем не держит возле головы, и решил перевести на голову.
About the head kick, in the first round, I kind of worked his liver a little bit and made sure that his hands went down a little bit. And in the second round, I saw that he wasn't bringing his hands up to protect his head at all, and I figured that the leg kick is going to work.
And your 3 straight knockouts are now tied for the second longest current streak in the UFC. The only one ahead of you is Sergey Pavlovich with 6. You have 3. So what do you credit the success of all these knockouts to?
3 победы нокаутом подряд. У тебя уже рекорд после Павловича. У Павловича 6, а у тебя 3. То есть почему ты думаешь, у тебя такая удачная серия в нокаутах? Все 3 победы, все нокаутами подряд.
Я думаю, из-за того, что у меня замечательная команда «Рать» и мои тренера, клуб Universal Fighter, Расул Магомедалиев, Марченко Юрий Анатольевич, все ребята, которые помогают, Ахмат, Умар. Я думаю, дело в моей команде. Будем ставить, дай бог, новые рекорды.
I think everything's attributed to my team. I have a great team around me. The team is called RAT in Russia, and then there's Universal Fighter Club. I have Rasul Numinkhaliyev, right? So I have all these coaches around me. They're the ones that prepare me, and it's because of them that I get this victory. So if I stay with them, I'm sure I'm going to keep getting the victories for them.
And you called out Sean Strickland. Why specifically do you want to fight Sean Strickland?
Ты вызвал на поединок Шона Стрикленда. Почему именно Шона Стрикленда? Почему с ним ты хочешь сразиться?
Да, я думаю, что два ударника, одинаковые стили. Я думаю, люди любят зрелищные бои стойки, да. Я думаю, что мы покажем отличный бой. И я думаю, что это будет бой вечера.
2 stand-up fighters. We have similar styles. I think people really like exciting fights when 2 people stand in front of each other, standing bang. I think we'll show an exciting fight for everyone, and it's going to be the fight of the night for sure.
The final one for me.
Мы же здесь, чтобы проверять себя и добиваться чего-то большего. Вот хочется проверить свои силы.
We're here to test ourselves and to reach new heights, so I'd like to check my strength on him.
The final one for me, I don't know if you noticed, but Chase Hooper was in attendance, and he actually took a video of you entering the cage, and he said he thinks this is the first time the 2 of you have ever been in the same room at the same time. I'm curious if have you run into him at all? Because he came to prove you're not the same person.
Чейз Хупер, тот человек, с которым тебя всегда сравнивают, американец, он здесь, и он записал видео того, как ты заходил в октагон, чтобы показать, что действительно вы не один и тот же человек. И это первый раз, когда он сказал, что он с тобой был в одной комнате или в одном здании. Ты случайно его не встречал, не видел его?
Да, я видел в Инстаграме, подписаны друг на друга, что он находится здесь. Я думаю, может, где-то в коридорах мы увидимся. Интересно было бы сфотографироваться и посмотреть, почти что на двойника. А так нет, не виделись.
Yeah, we follow each other on Instagram, and I saw that he's here in the building, but I haven't run into him yet. It would be great to see him. I thought I was going to see him somewhere backstage, and I would love to take a photo with him just to show how similar we are.
Right over here. Sorry. Oh, right over. Other side. Sorry about that. You started off your UFC career on a 2-fight skid, and now 3 wins in a row, beating some really big names. I'm just curious, is there anything that changed in your preparation, or was it just getting acclimated to the UFC?
Начал ты свою карьеру с 2 проигрышев подряд, а потом так получается, что уже 3 победы подряд. Почему ты думаешь, что изменилось? Ты что-то кардинально изменил в своем подходе или в своей команде? Почему вдруг пошли такие победы? Может быть, ты сначала просто не мог себя почувствовать в UFC, тебе нужно было время как бы обосноваться здесь, а потом уже пошел на победу. Почему?
Я думаю, что это все дело в той команде, у тех тренеров, в которых я нахожусь. Это Расул Магомедалиев, клуб Universal Fighter, Махачкала, Дагестан, откуда наш чемпион великий Хабиб. Я думаю, что только это причина, по которой мы сделали 3 победы досрочно подряд.
Yeah, it's all attributed once again to my team, Rasul Minkhaliyev and the Universal Fighter team and Team Rights, and being training in Dagestan, in Makhachkala, in the city where our great champion Khabib Nurmagomedov is from. So I'm attributing all of these victories to do the right thing with me for the preparation, and that's why the victories keep coming. Good.
Pode abrir. Tá em casa. Sem gás. Não, ela só é, só é chique. He was like, is this sparkling water? No, just in a can.
Just extra water.
Ele falou, você sabe onde me encontrar. Não foi pra você, mas qualquer coisa você sabe onde encontrar o cara.
Eu nem lutei direito ainda.
I haven't even fought, dude. And you want me to...
Well, Gabriel, in the front, right here. First of all, congratulations on the victory. I guess what are the emotions after a quick performance like that?
Primeiro de tudo, parabéns pela vitória. Quais são as emoções depois de uma vitória tão rápida como essa?
A emoção é muito feliz por estar lutando pela segunda vez aqui no UFC e ganhando, e ainda com a guilhotina, né? 2 guilhotinas em 2 eventos seguidos. Estou muito feliz.
The emotions is to be very happy to be fighting here. We're in the world of UFC and also with the guillotine. I mean, 2 events, 2 guillotines, is just very happy.
When you locked it on, did you know it was tight enough for him to submit?
Quando você agarrou ele, pegou, você pensou assim, pô, já está apertado o suficiente, não vai, daqui não sai.
Quando eu coloco a guilhotina ali, só vai sair batendo mesmo.
Yeah, when I put that guillotine on there, you're getting out by tapping on.
At Media Day, you had said you kind of want to showcase your jab against Trevin specifically because he said he had the best jab in the UFC. So, but this was a quick performance and you got the submission. So how did you actually see this fight playing out compared to what happened?
Durante as coletivas de imprensa no Media Day, você mencionou que você queria, talvez, mostrar o seu jab, porque ele falou que ele tinha o melhor jab da divisão. No final das contas, você foi lá e uma finalização. Então, como é que... Você achou que ia acontecer do jeito que aconteceu?
Como vocês viram, eu queria trocar com ele, eu fiz uma trocação, só que ele sentiu um golpe ali e já grudou. Então, ele não se provou. E eu fiquei muito feliz porque ele viu que o meu strike, meu boxe é muito melhor que o dele e melhor do que muitos aí no UFC.
I mean, yeah, my plan was to strike, but as you saw it, when that hand got in there, he just went to the ground. So he didn't prove himself, and I actually proved myself to be not only a better boxer, a better striker, but one of the best in the division.
You called out Neil Magny. Why specifically Neil Magny?
Chamou o Neil Magny pra porrada. Por que especificamente o Neil Magny?
Ele é que tá ali nos top 15, né? No finalzinho ali. E eu pensei que seria uma boa luta. Ele é um cara do strike e eu quero lutar com uma pessoa que é strike mesmo, entendeu? Para me provar também, provar mais de mim.
Yeah, he's a guy who's been there. He's right there in the top 15, a striker, and I want to fight a striker. I think I want to prove myself, and I want to have the opportunity to fight a striker.
The UFC's obviously, there's plans to go back to Brazil later this year. Is that the card I assume you want to be on?
Com os planos do UFC de ir para o Brasil no final do ano, esse seria o evento que você gostaria de participar?
Quem sabe, né? Eu gostaria muito.
Who knows? I would love it.
Right here, Gabriel. Joe Rogan said on the broadcast right after you finish it that his guillotine is just death. What kind of praise, what does that praise mean to you?
Na transmissão, assim que acabou a luta, o Joe Rogan falou assim, cara, a guilhotina dele é mortal, é a morte. O que você acha desse elogio que você recebeu?
Eu fico muito feliz, né? Porque eu sou da luta livre. A luta livre é uma arte que está crescendo no mundo. Eu sou aluno do Renato Ferreira, da BLL, Brasília Luta Livre, e é ali que eu aprendi, é ali que eu consegui melhorar o meu chão, porque as pessoas falam jiu-jitsu. Não, eu treino luta livre.
I'm very happy because, I'm a wrestling guy. I work with Renato, Coach Renato was in the Brazilian the Association of Wrestling, and I'm not, everybody talks about and Brazilian Luta Livre, as they call it, and people always say jiu-jitsu, but no, I'm a guy who likes to be on the ground. I've improved my ground game so much by wrestling on the ground.
Over here in the middle, hi. Salt Lake City, Utah, what'd you think about fighting here? Did you feel the elevation at all during your fight? I mean, I know it was short and sweet, but even just through your training, how'd you feel about competing in Utah?
Lutar em Salt Lake City, Utah, como é que foi para você aqui? Sentiu a elevação, sentiu a altitude? Como é que foi? Claro, a luta foi curta, mas você sentiu alguma coisa em relação a estar na altitude?
Igual eu falei, né? Eu sou de Brasília. Brasília praticamente é o mesmo clima. Aqui é um pouco mais calor, sim, mas eu não senti altitude, não senti nada. Treinei bem, tirei meu peso bem e só foi perfeito.
No, as I said, I'm from Brasilia, it's very dry. Of course, the heat here was a little rough, but I didn't feel the altitude. Actually, cutting weight was great too. No problems. Felt it was perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good.
Thank you.
Well, CJ,
Talk to me.
Congratulations on the victory. I'm curious, sunglasses because of the eye poke?
Yeah, but they look cool, you know, also. But yes, I couldn't see. I'd never been poked in the eye like that. I don't even know if he hit me or if he poked me what, but the lights went out completely. And I was telling my coaches it was a weird situation because when the ref stopped it, he came up and asked me if I could see, and I couldn't, but I lied. I was like, yeah, I could see. He's like, well, do you need me to call the doctor? And I was like, And so he called the doctor, and the doctor came in and flashed the light in my eye. I couldn't see anything at all. And I'm in a weird position because if I tell the doctor I can't see, he's probably going to stop the fight. So then I had to lie to him, too. I'm like, now I can see. Are you sure? 100%. You want to fight? Yeah. Okay, let's do it. And all right, run it.
So what did your coaches say when you told them you couldn't see?
I didn't tell them. We, it was just one of those things. In the moment, I accepted that I couldn't see out of my left eye, so keep my left hand higher and try not to give those angles away to where I'll give a shot that would open me up from that side.
So when that happened, how much of the game plan did you have to change knowing you were compromised and you couldn't see out there?
Not too much, to be honest with you. It was something that like I said, I accepted. And Vinicius throws everything. I mean, you guys saw those angles that he throws from are so wild. So as long as you're covering your bases with defense, you shouldn't get caught with those wild shots. And by the time, by towards the end of the second round, I was able to see fairly well enough to have the vision back.
And it seems like he was trying to bait you in there quite a bit. There was a lot of taunting. Is that what you expected from him?
Of course, yes. The whole putting his back against the cage. And earlier we talked to my coaches about me engaging with that, meet him there and start chopping his legs away. But when he did it impulsively, I'm not going to play this game with you. You can meet me in the center, or we can I'll do what I'm doing over here too. We can both play that game.
Then I have to ask you about when he missed weight, was there any thought of not taking the fight? Because the
Absolutely
same thing
not.
happened to Wonder Boy, and he turned the fight down.
No. I'm not in a position, first of all, I'm not financially in a position to turn a fight down right now. I'm still building, I'm building myself financially, one. Two, I mentioned this on my Instagram, I'm not going to throw rocks from the glass house that I'm standing inside of. I've missed weight twice in the UFC. So I know what it's like to push your body to that threshold and your body's saying, I'm not doing this anymore. So from the perspective of a fighter that's never missed weight, that can hold themselves up, with a high chin and say, oh, you're unprofessional, or whatever they say. That's cool, I get that, but I don't have that perspective. I empathize with him. I know that he was probably dying Thursday morning, or Thursday night, Friday morning. And I know the shame that goes into missing weight on such a massive card, how it felt for me. I imagine it felt the same for him. So I'm glad it was only 2.5 pounds over the 126 limit. And it seemed like he was, still pretty fresh in there.
And final one for me, what do you want the rest of your year to look like in the UFC?
I want to compete again. We're closing off the summer. I would like to get in there, November, whenever I'm clear, we can run another one. Thank you.
CJ?
Sir.
John Anik said on the broadcast that perhaps a ranked opponent is in the imminent future for you. What do you
Did he
think?
now?
Yeah, that's what he said. I'm curious what you think of him saying that.
Making me blush, to be honest. Why not? I'm here to test myself. Every single time I get in here, I roll the dice. And this whole fight journey, it's a suicide mission, man. You will meet your maker. At some point, you will find your match. And I'm here looking for my match. And every time I step in there, I make peace with the progress that I've gained. And either I'm going to win or I'm going to die trying in the process. So yeah, if a ranked opponent is next, then a ranked opponent is next. Or if we keep chopping away at the block one at a time, then we do that too. I'm just here to enjoy the journey.
I got one back here.
Sure.
On the broadcast, they were saying that at times, because Salvador wouldn't engage, it kind of looked like a sparring match at times. Did it feel like that at all during the fight?
Yes, it did actually. And that's funny you say that. My coach said the exact same thing. I had never been taunted that much in a fight, and I don't think I've ever taunted that much in a fight back. I found myself doing that too. But something that I needed to work on within myself was, for those of you that watched my fight in March, when I get clipped hard enough, there's a blood boil that happens inside of me where I lose composure, and I only want to hurt you back. And I rage at that part of myself that refuses to be hurt. And I'm learning to grow as a martial artist and not buy into that bait all the time. So with Vinicius, this was a great opportunity for me to come out here and show composure and poise. And when he started taunting or when he clipped me with something, instead of falling into that firefight, putting myself in danger with a guy that's throwing these wild looping punches that could put you out, just sit back and pick my shots. Of course, I want to finish. I want the performance bonus. I want the knockout of the night. I want the highlight, all of that. We all do. However, I got to win, and I'm grateful for that.
Right here, just in front of him. I'm from Salt Lake City Reporter, and I'm just curious what you thought about competing in Utah. Did you feel the elevation? I mean, that was a long fight. So just how did you feel about that? And maybe if you didn't notice, what did you like about competing here?
Well, first of all, I love this place. I love it out here. My brother and I actually came out here last Thursday, so we've been here a couple days over a week, and we stayed in Mill Creek. And we hiked Cottonwood Way. We were in Alta. We made it up to 10,000 feet in waterfalls, like the whole thing. I was doing the whole thing. So the reason for that was I know that, biologically you can't completely adapt, right? But mentally I felt like it was good for me to be out here. Fell in love with the place. And I was able to blast my lungs out a few times at this elevation. So I didn't feel much. What I did notice, though, throughout the week being here was during my workouts, I felt fine. I didn't feel much more taxed than I normally do. However, after the workout's over and we're driving back to the house we were staying at, I was just fried. And my muscles were so much sore the next day than I'm used to them being. So, but I love Salt Lake. I've considered moving here like twice since being here.
Thank you.
Just one follow-up on the eye. I know they had probably a better chance at the back. They said that you're going to maybe do some tests. Did the doctors get a good look at your eye? Were there any tears or anything with the eye?
Not on the surface. I did tell the doctor that, even when I went back to see the doctors, there's something weird going on in my left eye. It's almost like, and it's hard to explain because I've never experienced this before, but it's like not glitching, but it's like a dimming in and out. It's like almost like the brightness is adjusting over and over. But I'm not in pain. It's just I am noticing. So they suggested that I go get it looked at, the next couple days, and I will when I get back to Texas. I don't foresee it being a big issue. However, I'm not going to take my word for it. So I'll talk to the doctor and we'll see what he has to say.
Awesome. Congrats on the victory.
Thank you. We all set? All right, cheers, folks. I'm going to take a selfie. You know what I'm saying?
Kevin, over here.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Immediate day, you said you were going to knock him out, but you ended up submitting.
Oh, man.
How do you think the fight played out?
I should have let go of that choke, just stood up and just started punching on me. Motherfucker, get knocked out. God damn it. No, I'm just playing. I mean, coaches kind of called it. You know, it's like one thing about Gaethje is when he gets put in a very bad situation, it's like he just kind of gives up the submission. It's like maybe he feels like he can escape the submission and then put you in a submission. And maybe that's the case. Maybe that's exactly what he thinks. But that's not the case. And overall, he got submitted. But smart guy, way to avoid brain damage. Every time he feels like he's going to get hurt, he gives up the submission, and then you're victorious. So thanks.
A lot of people online seem to think Gaethje looked a little slow. Maybe the time away maybe like messed with his timing and everything. Did it feel like that in there?
I mean, I guess. I mean, like I was talking to them. I probably shouldn't say this. I wish some of you women would plug your ears. Usually there's not women back here, so I'm sorry, guys, ahead of time. But it's like having sex every day of the week and then fucking a virgin. You know, it's like he's been gone way too long. That shit was way too tight. He couldn't handle it. Once again, sorry, ladies.
It's just a weird analogy. I wasn't expecting it.
Makes sense though, right?
It does, yeah. You know, your wrestling looks impeccable. It almost looks like you've learned how to defend takedowns now. I'm curious how much you've worked on that. And did you sort of, once you stuffed the first one, think, oh, he's in trouble now?
No. It's like we talked about it a lot with Sands, and you know, it's like I got a wrestling coach now, and said several times, you know, it's like it's not the first shot you got to stop. It's it's like the first 3 shots. But every wrestling coach I've ever worked with have always said that. So it's like you stop 1, you stop 2, you stop 3, and then they start to get a little desperate and they're not as good as shots. And that's just kind of what happened. You know, it's like Gaethje got in good, pulled him up. Gaethje got in good, pulled him up. Gaethje got in deep, wasn't deep enough, and after that he was pretty much just like not wanting to fight. I hit him with an uppercut to the body, and the fucker just kind of like flew in the air and dropped to the ground. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was like, oh well, just stay composed and keep fighting. So it's like yeah, you know, it's like the game has circled and passed him and seriously left him. You know, it's like I see him talking about, it's like, guys, you have to be realistic. People always talk about, oh, I want to get a title. I mean, let's be real. Some of you guys are in the UFC and you're never going to get a fucking title. You know, it's like buy some jewelry like me. And it's like retire, commentate, focus on your family. You're never going to get a title. And if that's what you were here for, it's not going to happen. You're already collecting a check by not getting hurt. So just stop. It's like you're a really good commentator and there's no reason to take brain damage. The next guy might be a little bit more dangerous than me and he might not go for the submission. He might just keep pounding your head in. So it's like, just stop while you can.
I want to give you credit. The first 2 you stuffed were incredibly deep and you managed to stay on your feet. It was very impressive.
Thank you.
You keep saying you want to go, Derrick Lewis. You keep saying you want to go back up to middleweight, but you're looking better and better at welterweight. And even tonight, you looked like much stronger than Michael. Why make the move back up?
I think I was looking better and better at 85. I just think that I ran into 2 wrestlers who were complete buzzsaws. And at the end of the day, it's like, you know, it's like I'm getting better at wrestling. So I want to wrestle everybody, 170 or 185. Doesn't matter.
Could you see yourself doing both divisions?
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what, if they let me go to 185, I'd probably drop all the way down to 155 as well. Derrick won? Yep. Fucking right. Let's go. Texas, stand the fuck up. Hey, the only person that didn't get done was fucking Trevin Giles. What the fuck? He took his shorts off? His fucking balls is hot. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, hold on one second. I gotta see this shit. Let's go, big bro. That's my nigga. All right, so let's just talk about Derrick Lewis. Who thinks that he should go beat up Francis next?
Don't know if the UFC will appreciate you saying that. You'd have to leave.
Oh, shit. I didn't think about that. My bad. All right, let's talk about me again. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Anybody else got any more questions?
Oh, really quick one over here. You're the only guy that shared the cage with Gaethje over the last 2 years. I'm just curious, do you think he should continue to fight?
No, I just said that a second ago. I think the game has circled past him, and it's over and done for his career if he wants to be a title holder. So he should just go commentate.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're new, aren't you? Yeah, you could tell.
Afterwards, you had some words with Michael in there. Was there respect, or what were you guys?
It was a little bit of both. You know, it's like I told him what I've been wanting to tell him the whole time. Fuck you. He cock blocked me one time, but it's okay. He didn't mean to. He said he was looking at my jury, so I'm glad we got an understanding. And then I told him he just needs to quit fighting and start focusing on commentating. He said he's not going to retire, so I mean it's his decision. But I definitely think he should focus on commentating. I think he's one of the better commentators. I talked to LFA not too long ago.
The flying knee.
He landed a flying knee?
To start.
Bro, when I got out here, this motherfucker was coming back from a 4-mile run at the top of this mountain, bro. Like, literally at the high, what's that place called? Park City. At Park City, he was going for a 4-mile run and came back. Like, the dude has 6-pack. He's a big guy who's really athletic. Like he said, the last few fights, he was hurt and had some medical things going on, so.
Before you go, Salt Lake City reporter, so I got to ask you, what do you think about competing and fighting in Utah? Did you feel the elevation during your fight? What do you like? What did you like about this place? What didn't you like?
I do like Salt Lake a lot. You guys are a very peaceful town, which is really good because I'm a very violent guy, so sometimes I need some peace. I didn't feel the need to fight random people out here, which is really nice. I always feel the need to do that. I really did like it out here. I could see myself taking the whole family out here and doing a whole little snowboarding thing and so on and so forth. And I've never snowboarded before, so that'd be pretty cool. And I'm from Southern California, closer to the mountains than the beach. So yeah, altitude don't fuck with me.
Kevin, one more over here. Jake Matthews was in here, said you challenged him to a fight.
Yeah, I told him we could fight in 2 weeks, but that's not the thing. I didn't challenge him to a fight. He brought my name up, and once I seen him in person, I just let him know, like, quit fucking bringing my name up online. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, everybody always brings my name up online, like, if we're buddies or something, but I don't like none of these niggas. Sorry. Natural habit. See that? He knew it was time for me to go. I'm getting natural. Appreciate y'all.
Man, that's a nice suit.
Thank you very much.
Well, Bobby, you just beat Tony Ferguson, so I guess what are the emotions after a performance like that?
I'd have to watch the tape to kind of feel emotions. I really don't know about feelings, bro. Everybody asks me about my feelings, you know. It's a performance. I felt like I got pissed. I got dropped in the first round, so I had to play catch up. You know, it ended great. It was a great fight. Hopefully I get that 50 G's. Those are the most important to me, is getting my money.
Well, in media day, you said you didn't quite know what to expect from Tony in there. So when the fight is playing out, did anything catch you off guard, or did it go according to plan?
Everything went according to plan. Everything we drilled, everything we saw, he did everything we expected. You know, I didn't know if I was expecting him to be so tough. He took shot after shot after shot. I'm like, okay, he's gonna be here for a while. You know, I was dropping some hammer fist on his face. I'm like, God, this guy's got a rock head. You know.
So I guess when that's playing out and you're punching him both on the canvas and standing, and he keeps coming forward, does any part of you have to maybe pull back a little so you don't gas yourself out in there?
Man, I thought a couple of shots on the ground, I'm like, all right, he's going to start to get ready to kind of go out a little bit. I'm going to start putting a little bit more. But I'm like, oh, he's not going anywhere. This kid's in here. And so I started like, oh, maybe I shot a little too much out of the tank. But no, just pace yourself, find it. I'm willing to dig deep, you know, and my coach kept telling me, show them how crazy you are. And that meant that if we had to go to the absolute death, we went to the absolute death, which was meaning that at the end of the round, I finally caught the choke where I never stopped. I could have easily given up, you know.
Well, speaking of that choke, I think the line for you winning by third round submission was plus 4,000, even as high as plus 5,000.
Holy shit.
So what do you think about those odds?
Holy shit. See, but that's the thing y'all don't know about me. I'm a mixed martial artist. I can do everything. I just choose not to show you the wrestling or the jiu-jitsu because most guys think it's pretty boring. So I choose not to do that. I'm here to show you a bang, you know, show you some action. But he kept trying to force that with me. I think he thought I didn't have those things in my tank.
What do you think Tony should do next with his career? Some people think he should hang it up. Do you think he should keep fighting?
Tony?
Yeah.
What I should say for another man? I can't speak for another man. It depends on what's in his heart and what's his goals, you know? I'm going to keep going until I accomplish my goals. I pay my houses off. I'm debt-free. I have a few $100,000 in the bank. Then I could be done.
So what would you like next for your career in the UFC?
What I like next? I'm not God. I'm just going walking this thing, you know? I leave those things to Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard. They watch the fights. They know who to put in front of me. I don't pick and choose. Nobody calls me out because they know I'm that guy, you know?
Bobby, you can't, like you said, you can't speak for another guy about what he wants to do with his career, but for you, you were just in there with him. Did he feel like a guy who's at the end of his career, if you know what I mean?
I don't know. I wouldn't say so. I mean, he took a hell of shots and he was still fighting. He was still game. And I felt like maybe it was someone else. Maybe they would kind of slow down and stop. He could have, I think he still got it in him. I would say so. He's got a lot of fight in him, you know. Even when I thought, all right, you're going to start backing up because you're getting hit with some shots, he was still coming at me like, I thought he thought I was going to get tired and quit. But no, that's what tells me he still got so much fight in him. So I wouldn't say give it up if I was him.
When he knocked you down in the first round, was that because you were off balance, or did he just catch you on the way in, or what happened there?
Oh, man, I'd have to watch the tape. Be honest, I felt like it was a good shot, but I didn't feel rocked. I didn't feel hurt or anything like that. Maybe it was a misstep. I don't know. I was like, how did he? But again, it was like, I think I was just adjusting to his reach and his length. He has one of the longest reaches in our division. So I'm like, man, how did he hit me with that stupid punch? I was mad at myself when I'm back to the and I sat down. I was like, that stupid punch. I need to get my head more left and right. I don't know how he called me, but it's just so long that just when you think you're out of range, nope. I was like, oh, great. So I had to double up my input and even it out some, you know, where I could say, all right, now it's even.
Yeah. All week long, everyone's talking about, like, oh, Tony does this weird, does that weird. Was there anything he did in the fight that you remember being like, that was weird?
He started trying to do his little, he started doing turning, he started doing that little roll, you know? Those are the weird things about him. The way he ducks his head, like one time he ducked and came under and pow, hit me with his head. We hit heads here too. So those were the weird things about him, that head. He'll whip his head and whip his head. I'm like, oh shit, you know? But it happens. You didn't see me just like the jury for it. I didn't say, stop the fight. I get hit with a head, bud. Like, I'm cut now, but I didn't stop. The fight just keeps going on, brother. I just told him, I even mentioned to him, hey, watch your head, bro. Let's keep going. It's just what it is.
I ask you this after every time you fight, but I saw you talking in there to him. Curious at some of the highlights, some of the things you were saying?
I told him watch his head for one. Told him, let's bring that shit, let's go. I started getting my shit going like, what's up? What's up? You was like, you wanted it, what's up? So I don't know what I said. I got to go back and remember what I was saying. I was saying yes, sir, to my coach, letting him I'm listening to you guys and what you guys are calling for. I was listening to his corner. I was saying a bunch of stuff. Who knows what I said? I was in the moment.
Hey, Bobby. Yesterday at the press conference, or on Thursday at the press conference, he said, you know, he felt fear on you, and then you got into his face, and you know, was we were talking shit. Did that get under your skin?
Did it get under my skin?
Yeah.
I don't know about under my skin, but I'm the type of person that, like, when you say these things, I'm sure as hell gonna make you answer them. And so to me, it was just like, say it now that I'm in your face and you're looking at me eye to eye. Say you saw fear. Tell me. And he didn't say anything. I'm like, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? You know? And it's not that I don't respect him or anything like that, because it really got me looking like the bad guy, because I'm over there chastising him, yelling at him, and now it looks like you're yelling at our hero. So people even started booing me, you know? It's just like, bro, he started it. I don't start nothing with none of these guys. They all say something to me, and now I come back to finish it, and I look like the bad guy.
Finally, are you down to fight Jim Miller at UFC 300?
Hey, you just nailed it. You just nailed it. That is one of my goals. I don't know what it is, bro. I think God's saving that guy, but every time we've been known to fight each other, it's something that happens. I blew my knee once. I may wait on 2 weeks' notice. I make the weight, and after I'm going to see the doctor, I pass out. My lungs fail. My kidney fails. Then I get popped for fucking DHEA for taking a supplement from Walmart that I watched on fucking YouTube, and now I fucked myself for the third time. I'm like, is it just not meant to be? Or is it that God's testing me? It's one of the two. Are you going to keep push through this and say, God, want to keep pushing back, see how bad you want it? Or is it he saying, don't do it. I'm going to keep cursing you every time. I got to go find out the answer.
Are you done? Sorry. I might have saw it when he dropped you. It looked like when he threw a punch, he maybe did a little trip at the same time. I don't know if you felt your foot get pulled out.
I don't know what happened. I was like, how did he, because I didn't feel like it was a hard shot. Yeah. Trust me, I felt the shot, pal, but it wasn't like I'm rocked. So when I got it, I was like, bro, come on. Like, I am not rocked. Come on. You know?
Well, you know, it's interesting when you get in there, it's one thing to watch him on tape and to see these movements and these things, but when you got him in the cage with him, how long did it take you to sort of adjust to his timing and his movements?
I think somewhere after that shot, because I watched him all the move. I'm like, the way he moves, and you see that little, coach, you see that little step he does, and you see how he moves and does that and comes in? Oh, we're going to catch him right here. We're going to catch him right here, you know? And so finally, I was able to dial it in. Okay, you go left, you come right, there you come, bow, you know? It just took about that first shot to wake me up and go, all right, pay attention more, keep the gap more. I was too close to him, and I ended up paying for it.
Well, speak with that gap. It looked like you were really trying to use the kicks in the midsection to try to keep that distance. Was that part of it too? You were expecting?
Yeah,
him to
I
kind
want
of
to
push
eat his
the
body up some, eat his body some, but keep the gap and make him make some mistakes coming across that. You know, some mistakes coming across that gap.
And last for me, there were points in the fight where you could definitely see where the crowd was cheering for Tony, but there was definitely points in the crowd where the crowd was cheering for you. I don't know if you could hear them when they were saying Bobby, you know.
Man, Tony and Bobby sound too close. I wasn't sure. I was like, all right, I know for sure I heard Tony, but I'm like, is that Bobby for a second? Because, like, if I hear Bobby, I'll go fucking nuts. But then I wasn't sure because then I think they started battling back. I'm like, I don't know if they're calling for me or him right now, brother. I don't. I just keep fucking fighting, you know?
Congrats on the victory.
Appreciate you, brother.
Bobby in the middle here. I'm Salt Lake City reporter, so I got to ask you. I heard that this is kind of like a home away from home Utah for you. What'd you think about fighting here? Did you feel elevation? And if not, what do you like about this place?
Oh, man, I love this place. When I was in Strikeforce, I started training at Jeremy Horn's Elite. At the time, my dad went to prison, and so he was gone for 2 years, and I didn't have a coach. So they sent me out here. I'm in the middle of nowhere. You know, I drove out here too, and I meet this little Mormon chick, you know, and I'm like out here, and I'm like enjoying myself. Like, it's not bad out here, you know? And so I kind of like fell a little bit in love with her, and I started training out here, and it became my home away from home. I come out here, eat sushi with these guys. Jeremy taught me so many different things. Like, I got the chance to work with Matt Hughes. I remember being in a movie theater, me, Matt, Jeremy, and Robbie Lar. And I'm sitting in the back of the car looking at these freaking UFC stars, and I'm like, am I gonna be around? Am I gonna ever be like these guys? You know, so it was my like kind of like coming out and feeling like, oh, you're gonna be here to stay type of thing. So Utah's been so precious to me. They've done so much. I came out here for a show to just be in the crowd, and people were calling me. I'm like, man, if I could just give a show in Utah, that'd be amazing. And by the grace of God, here I am.
And then elevation, no issue? Like feeling that during the fight?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.